Reproductive.com and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
You are listening to the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations. 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, brought to you by Lowe's. A lot of people are building their personal brands, and for good reason. Recent research from Nielsen finds that over 70% of consumers trust advertising, opinions, and products from influencers. Stacey Wade, co-founder of Nimbus, a black-owned marketing agency, says that personal brands offer a kind of authenticity that big companies sometimes aren't able to match.
You're able to pull the credibility from, culturally, the cultural credibility that they bring to the table is worth so much more money now, because especially now their audience is expecting them to be more authentic on who they choose to work with.
It comes down to trust. Brands looking to earn the trust of black consumers might be well served by involving black voices in an authentic way. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
Shop Dell Technologies' early holiday savings event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Early holiday savings is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect that of the staff and management of Good Karma Brands, but are the sole responsibility of the host and guests of this particular show.
America may have many, many days, but they will be full of trouble. There will be no rest. There will be no tranquility in this country until the nation comes to terms with our problems.
Bringing you social and political commentary from his mouth to your ears, breaking down the issues which matter to you.
You are not put here to be a white man's footstool. You are put here to represent the very best in God's word.
Legendary civil rights icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson in the studio. Reverend Jackson, how are you?
Mr. Sherwin, good morning on this chilly Milwaukee morning.
And I am pleased to have one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party, Chairman Bobby Seale. Mr. Chairman, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine. Thank you.
From Mr. Eric Holder. Mr. Holder, so good to see you. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, man. How you been? It's been a long time. Haven't seen you for a while.
The Dr. Cornell West. Dr. West, how are you, sir?
My dear brother, you're so kind, you're so generous, man. But I salute you and the work that you were doing there. Doing a magnificent job there in Wisconsin.
Stream live on 1017thetruth.com. Call in with your questions or comments. 833-212-1017. Join us on social media at 1017 The Truth. It may not be what you expect to hear, but I will definitely give you what you need to know. Are you ready for the truth?
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Sherwin Hughes.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Thursday, November 7th, 2024. As the dust is beginning to settle and the data is becoming a little more apparent, it is imperative for us to analyze exactly what went wrong. I'm going to do my level best to try and provide my thoughts, feelings, and opinions on what went wrong so that we can hopefully prevent another something going wrong in 2028. I'm already mentally in 2028. I have a good feeling of how 2026 is going to go at the ballot box because Americans are reliably predictable when we have a midterm election, typically when one party has control. And it looks like the Republicans led by Donald Trump are going to have control of the House of Representatives too. That's not 100% certain, but it's leaning that way. There's still about 30-ish House seats that are still undetermined because votes are being counted. Right now, the Republicans have 212 seats. The Democrats have 199, with the rest hanging in the balance. You need 218 seats to have the majority in the House of Representatives, meaning of the seats that still have yet to be counted, the Republicans only need 6. The Democrats need a dozen or more. So the math is starting to favor the Republicans. Now, I can't predict what is going to happen because Donald Trump has not yet made his first move nor his first cabinet suggestion as of yet. That will give us a better indication of exactly how far Trump is willing to go. We're going to see who he surrounds himself with. What I do recall, and I'm sure a lot of you do as well, the people that Donald Trump surrounded himself with during his previous term, some of them were individuals of fairly high esteem. The overwhelming majority of those people, not only did they abandon him, they left his administration, they were fired from his administration, they quit his administration, but a lot of them, like 200 people, decided they were going to endorse Kamala Harris, which is exceptionally rare. And it's not something we often see in American politics where someone who is a Republican, who is a conservative, lifelong Republican, lifelong conservative, work in a Republican president's administration, leave that administration for whatever reason, and then go on to endorse the Democrat in the next election cycle. We don't see things like that in American politics because typically who we support, who we vote for, and just because now politics is very much its identity. It's very rare for someone to support someone of the opposite party. Think about how many times you can recall a Democrat or a cadre of Democrats then and going and supporting a Republican the next election cycle. It just really doesn't happen. So I think that told us a lot about Trump's policy positions and how extreme he went. And those other folks, I don't want to call them statesmen. They are statesmen like we romanticize about the days when George W. Bush was the kind of Republican that we wish we had nowadays. George W. Bush was the Donald Trump of his time. He got us involved in wars. He did all sorts of things and favored the rich, and he doubled down on mass incarceration. So George Bush was no saint. But we seem to think that he was more manageable or more realistic than Donald Trump was. Not at the time. This is also something you need to know about the American psyche. And I got to bury this in my mind when I think about the American electorate. And I'm going to give you some details about the American electorate and something that we missed in all of this hoopla. And there's a lot of hoopla. And I'm not saying hoopla was a bad thing because the Kamala Harris, Tim Walz campaign made me feel good. I felt optimistic. I was happy. I was hopeful. I was looking forward to a brighter future. And for that, I am eternally grateful because American politics will rip you to shreds. And for a moment, we were feeling really good. I was a joyful warrior. That's almost as good as being a juicy jammer. I appreciate everything Madam Vice President did. This was not her fault. Some of this was our fault because we missed something, because we wanted to dismiss it. We thought it wasn't real, or we wanted to call these people crazy, or they don't know what they're talking about. We can't do that no more. Democrats, you cannot afford to dismiss anybody anymore. The elitism, all that has to stop because the whole country shifted red. This was not Kamala Harris's fault. What we do as Americans, I got to keep this in mind, and I want to make sure that I lead with this thing I'm about to say as a guiding principle for how I predict elections. Because to some extent, people that do what we do for a living, talk show hosts, we're supposed to have some level of predictability in what is going to happen. Because that's where our credibility comes from, right? If I can predict something and it comes to fruition, people will say, oh, Sherwin said that. Sherwin predicted that. So I got to do better in how I read the tea leaves. When Americans go through something traumatic, we either tend to forget about it altogether, we deny it, we repress it, or we only remember the one good thing that came out of a really bad situation in a dark storm. We don't want to think about bad stuff. We deny it, we forget about it. COVID was horrible for a number of reasons, and we weren't used to anything like that. We had never seen the world shut down. Most people didn't know what a damn supply chain was until they couldn't get no toilet tissue. That's not the kind of stuff that Americans deal with. People getting sick and dying, and you had to wear a mask everywhere, and we had to have the ventilators because the people couldn't breathe. You had people that were dying in hospitals, and they were so contagious that the medical staff would have to FaceTime on behalf of the dying so their family could say goodbye to them. That was really traumatic for a lot of us. But we don't recall all of that because it's just too much. Just like when George Bush was president and got us involved in two incredibly unnecessary and very expensive wars and tanked the economy. We then forget about all that and say, wow, I wish that we had a George W. Bush instead of a Donald Trump. George W. Bush was horrible. And something else that softened his image that made us forget his 2 terms of treachery in the United States. Do y'all know that George W. Bush stole the 2000 election? We forgot all about that. He stole it. He asked the Supreme Court to call the election in his favor when all of the votes weren't counted. And guess whose votes weren't counted in the 2000 election? Broward County from black wards. Al Gore won the 2000 election. George Bush was like, nah, stop counting. I want to be the winner now. And he felt so bad about it that we got stimulus checks. Do y'all remember that? Of course you don't. We got $600 and $900 stimulus checks because the Clinton-Gore economy was so good, we had a balanced budget. There was no American deficit. Not only that, we had somewhere between $250 and $400 billion of surplus. We have not had a surplus in the United States in a quarter century. So George W. Bush steals the election, knows he stole the election because he told the Supreme Court to order the stoppage of votes being counted in Florida. Then he felt bad. Then what did he do? He gave away the surplus that we had. And that surplus should have been invested in infrastructure. Imagine had we invested in removing lead pipes 25 years ago. Milwaukee would no longer have them. That money should have been invested in education. That money could have been used for student loan forgiveness a quarter century ago. But what George Bush did is he gave all of y'all checks. And let me be clear with y'all. $600 in the year 2000, it was 2001 because he got inaugurated January 20th, 2001. $600 for an individual, $900 for a married couple or a family was a lot more money back then than it is right now. But he was a horrible president. But for some reason, we only have these images of George W. Bush of him and Michelle Obama holding hands. George W. Bush was a bit of a dictator, too. And so this is something I need to keep in mind about Americans. We tend to forget the bad things in the past and romanticize about the handful of good and or optimistic things that may have taken place in that time. So Donald Trump and COVID. What do we hear this entire election cycle? And at some point, I just surrendered because I was like, I'm not going to be able to get people to remember bad things about the pandemic because it was just too traumatic and everybody wanted to repress those bad memories. But Sherwin, gas prices were low. It's because you weren't driving. You didn't need... There's no demand for gas if your job is closed. But Sherwin, Donald Trump wrote a check to me, but inflation ate it all up. printing that money and printing those checks put so much more money in the economy, the dollar became worthless, then everything got more expensive. Then the corporations raised the prices and kept the prices high, and now you're mad at the economy and blame Joe Biden for it. So moving forward, I'm going to have to keep in mind that when bad things happen, Americans won't want to remember them. They will find the handful of good, decent, or optimistic things that took place in a bad, treacherous storm. And those are the things that we are going to recall. These next 4 years have the potential to be very, very bad. But in 2028, we're only going to remember the handful of good things that happened in Donald Trump's second term. On today's program, I'm going to do a bit of a data and statistical analysis to see what we missed in this most recent election where the entire country shifted, right? This was not Kamala Harris's fault. So we're going to talk about something that we missed. And also a bit of happy optimism that hopefully you guys remember in 4 years when we go through hell with a second Trump term. I have the ultimate Democratic ticket for 2028. And let me be abundantly clear. This ticket that I'm going to announce on this show is literally undefeatable. Now, they're going to have to learn some lessons. They're going to have to incorporate some policies that Democrats are afraid of. And here's the other thing that the left is going to have to do. We're going to have to start saying no to stuff. We just say yes to everything. Everything, no, we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Oh, yes, absolutely. Come on over into the country. Got a 9-year-old little girl who wants to grow a penis. You grow that penis. We got to start saying no to stuff because it may feel immoral to us. But if you say yes to every damn thing, you will lose an election. Now, y'all just going to have to chew on that now. We're going to have to start deciding what we're saying no on because the left says yes to everything. I don't care how harebrained. I don't care how crazy it is. And here's the other thing. The people and the things that we are now saying yes to, because we don't want to offend anybody, are like 1/10 of 1/1000th of 1/10 of 1% of the voters. But we'll change the whole paradigm and the whole platform to accommodate 100,000th, 1/10 of the, like 7 people want to have this particular procedure, and the Democrats will make it like top of mind of their ticket at a damn convention speech. Got to start saying no. Trump and the Republicans have no problem saying no to anything. They sometimes say no to common sense, and I respect them because they actually have the ability to say no to certain things. Certain things they're just going to call crazy. No, we're not going to do that. No, that's not going to happen in America. No, we're never going to do that. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Democrats like, yes, everybody do what you want. Everyone, please. No, you will lose an election. And we can't afford to lose any more elections. So that being said, I got the perfect ticket for 2028. I hate to disappoint some of you. And no, I'm not going to tell you who the perfect ticket is yet. You're going to have to listen to the show, okay? Jeez, calm down. There's no woman on this ticket. I apologize for that. But a woman will not get elected president unless we can go to direct democracy. As long as we have the Electoral College, a woman is not going to get elected president in the United States. Now, if we go to direct election of our presidents, absolutely. Absolutely. As long as California only has two senators, right? A count of 2 in the Electoral College when it comes to their Senate seats, and North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Utah, Kansas, and Nebraska, which have 1/10 of the population of California combined damn near, and they have, 20? Counts toward the Electoral College count of 270, then a woman is not, it's just not going to happen. This is a mathematical equation. I mean, some of it is misogyny. Some of it is women not voting for women, and we're going to talk about that today too. But I have the super ticket for 2028. Now, we're going to have to start getting on board now with this ticket. It's going to take all 4 years to get this ticket elected because some of y'all are finicky. Some of y'all are fickle. Some of y'all don't like a person because of this. You don't like the way they walk. You don't like the way they talk. You don't like this. We got to get over all that now because we have to win. Super ticket. I got it. It's the undefeatable ticket. Here's the other thing I'm going to say, and then I got to take a commercial break. Democrats need a border policy. Seriously. Like a serious one, not like build a wall border policy, but because that's important to a lot of people. It's important to people who don't even live anywhere near the border. The Democrats need a border policy for different reasons than the xenophobic and racist ones, but Democrats have got to have a border policy. You know what's crazy? You know who has the toughest border policy on the planet? It's the liberal, socialist, communist country where stuff is free in this country. Healthcare free, education's free. Canada. Canada has one of the toughest. If the United States of America had Canada's immigration policy, that's tougher than a Trump policy. Canada doesn't, you can't, no, Canada does not let you come in. Now, they also border the United States to the south and then oceans on the east and the west, and then the north is just the damn Arctic, so nobody comes from the north. But Canada's immigration policy, let me tell you about Canada. If you get a DWI in the United States of America, you can't go to Canada to even visit for 10 years. Ain't that crazy? All right, let me take a break. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I have the super ticket for y'all in 2028. I'm going to need you to get on board. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's Dr. Ken Harris, and you can watch me now live on YouTube every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m., and you can watch the best radio show in Wisconsin by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Watch me explore the issues which are shaping our community while also having fun discussions, pop culture, current events, all kind of stuff going on right here on YouTube right now by subscribing to 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube.
This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
People will tell you that race is a social construct and that there's no biological reality that distinguishes between a white individual and a black individual. So what does that mean if there are these quote-unquote disparities, right? It means that the way we move through a society is markedly different, right? And that the experience that we have has biological consequences. Is when you're in a society where people are constantly discriminating against a certain group, denying access, don't have control over the institutions that govern our lives. All of those things create a biological reality and a response, whether it's a stress hormone or a fear or something that could be passed on, what we call epigenetics, which means what my mother or my grandmother experienced had an effect on what formed me in my responses to those stressors. That's how we can be two individual people with very little difference, but have totally, vastly different experiences as we move through our reproductive health.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
As a bull rider, I prefer to do things single-handedly. That's why I love the UW Credit Union app. Doggy! It lets me check accounts, make transfers and more on the go. And if I need an extra hand, UW Credit Union has 13 Milwaukee area branches. Yippee! So, if you want simple mobile banking, mosey on over to UW Credit Union. They're here for every y'all. Federally insured by NCUA.
Attention families, Milwaukee Public Museum wants to remind you that Kohl's Thank You Thursdays are in full swing. Receive free access to MPM's permanent exhibits on the first Thursday of every month. Milwaukee Public Museum would like to thank Kohl's for their support and making this program possible. Visit MPM's website today for more information and to book your reservations. mpm.edu/KTYT. That's mpm.edu/KTYT.
Milwaukee faces significant wealth gaps, but change is possible. Join entrepreneur Arlo Washington on November 13th for a transformative discussion on building wealth in underserved communities. Featured in the Oscar-nominated documentary The Barber of Little Rock, Washington's insights are a must-hear. Attend for free, in person or online. Get your ticket at uwm.edu/SCE. Sponsored by the Tommy G. Thompson Center on Public Leadership and hosted by UWM School of Continuing Education.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I really believe in this ticket. Now, a lot of things can happen between now and 2028, and a lot of things will happen. I'm over here like already overlooking what the next 4 years is going to be like, but I am concerned that the MAGA movement has expanded, and I'm going to give you some details on that because I got to be able to prove that to you guys because some of y'all won't believe it. Donald Trump gained more. He won the popular vote. He won the Electoral College. He did better. He did better in most. When I say he did better in most counties, because we look at elections by counties because counties certify results. But counties also include municipalities, right? So Milwaukee County, as you all know, it includes our suburbs, your River Hills, your Brown Deer, Glendale, Bayside, Shorewood, Franklin, all the, right? So that's Milwaukee County. So we certify our elections by county. Donald Trump did better than he did in 2020 and 2016. He expanded his base in 2,300 counties. There are 3,100 counties in America. He did better in 90% of American counties. There was a decided shift to the right amongst American voters. And there was something that we missed on the tea leaves, and I'll be the first one to do the mea culpa. I missed it. But I also was emotionally invested in this campaign for a number of reasons. There's just a lot of stuff going on, y'all. The interviews that we did, the different events that we went to, like it was just a lot. It was nonstop. I'm getting a text message nonstop. Hey, Sherwin, Don Cheadle is coming on the show. Hey, Sherwin, Mark Cuban is coming on the show. Hey, Sherwin, Tim Walz, you got an interview with him. Hey, Sherwin, and you're on hold to talk to the vice president. Oh, Sherwin, we're going to put you on standby for CNN. Oh, Sherwin, the BBC is here. You're going to be on international TV. It was a lot. And so as a human being, you almost have no choice but to get someone emotionally wrapped up into it. And clearly because of where my politics are and have been all of my adult life, I'm a Democrat, and I'm proud of that. Telly, I love you, but I heard you say something today, and I don't know if you was being tongue-in-cheek or you were being objective, but Telly had said something. He had mentioned, like, oh, if somebody came up to me or you and asked me or you why I'm a Democrat, I don't know. What? Oh, how you don't know? How about if somebody came up, fellas? Yeah, fellas, are you out there? Y'all out there? I hear you. I see you. Fellas are out there. Fellas, what if somebody came up to you and asked you why you were straight? Those of you that are, you'd be like, oh, because this is why. I'm as convinced about my cisgenderness as I am my political party affiliation. There's second nature to me. If somebody came up to me and said, hey, Sherwin, I say, hey. They say, Sherwin, I say, what? Tell me why you're a Democrat. Here's what I say. I'm like, how much time you got? Have a seat. Want to get some coffee? Want to order a pizza? I got time today. I'd have a bunch of reasons. Let's talk to Jay. You're on 101.7 The Truth. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Sherwin. I was just calling because I guess I'm hoping that maybe you can help me out with my thoughts here. I have some questions about the Latino vote. You always hear about black and brown and people of color and how we got this unity. And I was surprised at the amount of Latinos that voted for Trump. And when I think about it, I only can come up with two things, right?
Okay.
Latino men voted for Trump because of the machismo. That, very much about, man running stuff in the community. I think that maybe that is one reason why they didn't vote for Kamala. But I think also, too, like you're saying about the border, I think that's another reason why they really kind of voted for Trump. And you would think that they would be for their people coming into this country. But they're not. Because what they're concerned about, it seems to me from watching TV, is that they don't want these criminals coming into their communities. They don't want to be seen as, unfortunately, how a lot of us are seen as black people, as a community where there's a lot of crime. They don't want that stigma. It seems like a lot of Latinos, when you ask them, and I got a lot of Latino people that I'm really cool with. Most of them are real cool. Is that they have they kind of consider themselves white, and being seen as a criminal, a community that has a lot of criminality in it, hurts their proximity to whiteness. So I can see why some of them voted for Trump, because You know, they don't want all that crime in their neighborhoods from these people coming over. At least that's maybe how they see it. But Sherwin, what you think?
I think you got some of it right. But what we can't do as black folks is when we see another quote unquote minority group or another group of quote people of color, you know, they lump us all together, and that's not fair. Because when you think about it, I don't know if there are two cultures that are more separate than black people and Latinos. In fact, black people and Latinos, in my opinion, are more separate culturally than black people and white people. Because white people in the South, they eat chitlins and collard greens and hog maws and ham hocks too, right? So they're more,
true.
the Latinos are more different than we are. The differences are between us and white folks. It's economic preservation. So I got a real good friend I went to high school with, and I just talked to her recently. She's from Nicaragua. And so I didn't know this. When I was growing up with her and going to school with her, I didn't know that she wasn't a citizen. So she came to this country in 1989. She did not get her citizenship until 2002. And this is back before we hated migrants and illegals, right? And she was very embarrassed, and she always stayed very quiet. She never talked about her lack of citizenship, but she told me it was grueling. It was hell. There were tests she had to take. She had to learn English. She had to report to immigration. She had to get her visas and her green card renewed. It was a horrible process. And so she explained to me why she was voting for Trump. She said, I don't want them coming over here and sidestepping a process that took me 13 years of my life. And I was like, I got it. The other thing is, they know that there are skilled laborers that are coming from South America, Central America, and Mexico, and they don't want them competing with the jobs that they have right now, because they're much more likely to be in competition with one another than we are as American citizens to be in competition with them. So they don't want border jumpers coming over here, getting hired. The border jumpers are getting paid a lower wage, and so the Latinos that went through the grueling process of becoming a citizen, they may lose their job to someone that came over here illegally. And so Trump spoke to them because of their economic anxieties.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that with me.
All right. Hope that helped, Jay. Have a good day. We should not have overlooked economic anxiety. And I messed this up too, because I kept talking about the details of the economy. Oh, job growth is up. Inflation is down. The stock market is exploding. For most people, working class people that a lot of Democrats, I believe, have forsaken, that don't mean nothing to them. That don't mean nothing. If you don't have money in the stock market, if you don't have money in the Russell 2000 index and the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the NASDAQ, if you don't have money and a significant portion of your retirement invested in the stock market, you saw none of those gains. In fact, you were left out of those gains, and all you were dealing with was not only the high price of goods and services. If you live in the city of Milwaukee, your sales taxes went up 2.4%. And I made mention of that some time ago, that I was not in favor of the sales tax going up when it did, because people were already complaining about the price of groceries and the price of everything else. And so on top of that, we added a 2.4% sales tax. Now, we had to add it because we got screwed on the timing of it. But I knew that that was going to have another economic effect on Milwaukee voters, and it did. Because people don't always recognize why everything is more expensive. They just feel it. They look in their wallet and it's less money. They look in a bank account and they only got $11.19 till payday, and payday is 4 days away. Economic anxieties will get people to think differently about everything, about gender, about LGBTQ issues. Like those sidestep all of those other people that want justice and want fairness too. If your pocket is hurting, you'll hate somebody else very, very quickly. You will. And it's easy to convince somebody to hate if they're broke. All right, I'm going to take a break, come back. We're going to talk to Steed on the other side. I also want to give you guys the details of how the entire country shifted right, and this was not Kamala Harris's fault. In 107 days, I believe she ran as brilliant a campaign as you possibly can in that short period of time. It's like if you're given a budget and a limited amount of time to shoot a Hollywood blockbuster movie. It's easy if you have a year to shoot the movie. She only had about 3 months to shoot her movie, and I think it's award-winning. She did a great job with the time that she was given. And the president at the time, still the president right now, Joe Biden, had really low approval ratings, and she is a part of that administration. So it's hard to divorce yourself from that. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The WIAA football playoffs is here. We have a big Level 3 matchup this Friday night as the number 1 seeded Marquette Hilltoppers take on the number 2 seeded Bayport Pirates. The football action kicks off at 7 p.m. on 1017 The Truth. Marquette University High School football is presented by Gruber Law Offices and sponsored by Capital Insurance Agency, Magic Productions, Annex Wealth Management, C.G. Schmidt, Left's Lucky Town, Boyle Frederickson Intellectual Property Law, and Marquette University High School. It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 1017 The Truth. Here is Telly Hughes with his truth.
I want to stress the importance of a positive mindset. Everything begins as a thought before it ever becomes an action. So it's extremely important to purposely place yourself in positive spaces to help shape and nurture those thoughts. I know you're probably thinking, okay, Telly, let's be realistic. Look, I get it. You may work with people with bad energy, or you may even be related to people who are negative by nature. In this journey called life, there will be many things that come your way that's out of your control. But what you can control is how you respond. Understand this. You have the right to either tap in or tap out of whatever energy that may come your way. And that's how you can control and protect your positive spaces. The mind is where it all starts. And if your thoughts are centered around positivity, you'll see how things begin to transform. You will see a noticeable difference between things happening for you versus things always happening to you. You begin to grow through situations as opposed to just going through tough situations. Make it a priority to surround yourself with positive people and create those positive spaces and begin to experience the fruits of what a positive mindset can produce. Trust me, it takes work to creating these spaces, and you have to be intentional about it. And I'm committed to putting in the work because I'm living proof that it's well worth the peace a positive mindset brings.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Join Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation for Marketplace Wisconsin, the Governor's Conference on Diverse Business Development, December 11th and 12th. Register at marketplacewisconsin.com.
Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
From the New York Times, with nearly complete election results, more than 90% shifted in favor of former President Donald J. Trump in the 2024 presidential election, according to the Times analysis of election results. Mr. Trump improved on his 2020 margin in 2,367 counties. His margin decreased in only 240 counties. There were 536 counties where too few votes had been counted to be included in this analysis. Support for Mr. Trump over his 3 consecutive presidential runs has swayed back and forth, but early results show that even a number of states where Vice President Kamala Harris was ahead shifted right. Mr. Trump appeared to improve his performance on election night among many types of counties, including counties that had once supported him in past elections, as well as counties that have historically leaned Democratic. There were 1,932 counties that Trump won by 20 or more points in 2020. There were 148 counties that Joe Biden won by 20 or more points. Of urban counties, in 2020, urban counties, Milwaukee I would consider an urban county, shifted to Joe Biden by 2.7 percentage points. Of those 85 identified urban counties in America in 2024, they shifted to the right by 5.2 percentage points. So they doubled their shift to the right versus 2020. There are 460 suburban counties in America. Of those 460 suburban counties in America, in 2020, 3.9% of those suburban counties shifted toward Joe Biden. In Tuesday's election, 4.3 of those counties shifted toward Donald Trump. Let's talk to Steed. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm good, Sherwin, man. Thanks for asking. Let's look at a hypothetical and see if this is possible.
Okay.
Is it possible the heads of these corporate America got together and artificially increased those prices to give Donald Trump a platform? In exchange, quid pro quo, when he gets in office, he cuts their taxes. Think about it. If all the numbers suggested our economy was doing well, our stock market had hit the highest that the U.S. has ever hit, okay, that was one thing. The other thing, unemployment was down for everyone across the board. That's two things, okay? Inflation was down dramatically. That's three things. So they had to create a narrative or a platform for him to run, and they know the economy is the biggest thing that gets movement, that gets traction, that gets suction with everybody. You feel me? So just like this thing, he didn't want them to put that bill forward for a resolve towards the border because he needed a platform to roll on. Those are hypotheticals, but how close are they to the actual truth? Now, yesterday, I mentioned this thing with black men. So, and you brought out the numbers after you and I hung up. However, black men it went from 8% to 21% as far as participation goes. I can't speak to the Hispanic, not to say that they're not included in our culture, but we got to deal with us first. And so and I truly believe in that. It's us first, not say nobody else is included. However, it's us first. We have to deal with our own way of thinking when it comes to these things. There's no reason that lady shouldn't have got in office. Thank you for your time, bro.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate your call. Do I think that the CEOs, let me do more than just the CEOs, the C-suite executives of large American corporations got together and raised their prices? Not specifically. So let's look at the Fortune 500, which are the 500 largest companies in the United States of America, which are probably responsible for, good Lord, probably 35 or 40% of our entire economy. You got to keep in mind that CEOs of large companies are like governors, where some of those companies are so big and so complicated and have so much bureaucracy, they're almost like individual states. That's like saying, did all the governors in America come together and work together on a policy? Hell no, because governors don't often agree. There are some CEOs that are libertarians. There are some CEOs that are non-political. There are some CEOs that are Republican. There are some that are left-leaning liberal Democrats. Did they raise prices out of greed? Yes. Did they raise prices to return more money to their shareholders to make sure their shareholders can continue to invest in those companies? Yes. Did they know that they were going to get a tax cut under Donald Trump? Yes. Are they going to get another tax cut under Donald Trump because he just got reelected? Yes. They don't have to do anything to appease Donald Trump, so they didn't have to raise their prices arbitrarily just to give Donald Trump a platform. Trump already had a platform. Trump is Trump's platform. Trump, you know what he needed? I'm going to tell you what Trump needed. And then as black folks, we need to try and figure out, what do we do with an administration that has zero agenda for us? And for those of you salt of the earth black folks that are just tough and you've seen hard times before. Oh, and here's my favorite platitude from black people. Oh, I love it so much. I love the conversation and the talking points the days after an election. Oh, they're so good. Black folks say stuff like, I survived Jim Crow and we survived slavery. You weren't a slave. You won't even work for $7.25 an hour, so stop it. And if you are younger than 50, you didn't live in Jim Crow either. So stop talking about what you lived through and you know tough times. No, you don't. We lived through slavery. Oh, we wouldn't survive a day. Nah, no, I wouldn't. Talking about we know tough times. No, we don't. We know the benefit of somebody else's tough times. And we use them to try and justify how tough we are right now. No, we're not tough. Here was the tea leaf reading that I missed. The number of black men that were going for Trump, supporting Trump, including some here at this radio station, I wanted to dismiss it, and I tried to make up excuses for it. Have you ever heard the saying that when America catches a cold, black people get the flu? So whatever happens in this country nationally, we are impacted by, as black people, much more severely, right? If there was the hint or the suggestion or the fact that black men were shifting more toward Trump, that should have told us that there was a national trend. African-American men are only 5% of the electorate. This is what we got to keep in mind. So with us being 5% of the electorate, if white women move in one direction or the other, 0.1%, then that is more votes than all black men's votes combined because there's so many more white women. Let me be abundantly clear. White women are the top voting constituency in America. White women decide elections. White men, we know where they're going to be. 60% of them or more are going to vote for the Republican, any Republican. An anonymous Republican is going to get 60% of the white male vote. They are the second largest constituency group in the country. Really, the battle for elections and electoral votes on the popular vote is between white men and white women. White women are the top, not only the top voting constituency, there is more of them. White women decided this election. Because let me see. So white women are 37% of the electorate. And 53% of white women voted for Trump. White men are 34% of the electorate, and 60% of them voted for Donald Trump. Black men are only 5% of the electorate. Now, 21% of black men voted for Donald Trump, but that is a really small number in comparison to just white women. Black women, 91% of black women voted for Kamala Harris, 7% voted for Donald Trump, but black women are 7% of the electorate. While the number of black women overall, as far as voters, is small, the percentage in which they vote for Democrats is high, which gives Democrats election edges in potentially close races. Latino men, 55% of them voted for Donald Trump. 43% of Latino men voted for Kamala Harris, but they're 6% of the overall electorate. It needs to be stated that Latino men there are more Latino voters in this country, Latino male voters, than there are black male voters. So Latino men outvote us. Latino women are 6% of the overall electorate in this country. 60% of them voted for Kamala Harris. 38% of them voted for Trump. And then all other races are 6% of the total electorate. 48% of all other races voted for Kamala Harris. 46% of all other races voted for Donald Trump. But it is white women, and I don't know who's going to talk to them. Black women can't talk to them. Other white women refuse to talk to each other. So I don't know what we're going to do to bring them into the fold. Now, here's the other thing. Y'all will blame the 21% of black men that are only 5% of the overall electorate now for Donald Trump's election, and nobody is going to talk to white women about their 53% decision to vote for Donald Trump, because we don't want to make them feel bad. They might get a little sad and get a little weepy with that. So we're going to have to argue amongst ourselves. Somebody going to have to talk to these white women now. Ricky, I volunteer you. Go talk to the white women love you. Hi, DJ Ricky. Hi. What would you like to talk about? You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Truth Nation, it is the effective communication coach Denise Thomas from Truth Be Told with DT and Telly. Look, y'all, I got to let you know that the best morning show on planet Earth is now streaming live on YouTube every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Yes, Truth Telling Hits with Telly and Truth Swiping are coming at you live and in color every weekday on YouTube. So go to YouTube right now to subscribe to 1017 The Truth and watch Telly and I do our thing and get your morning started off right. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube.
This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Reproductive justice, it's a framework, it's a movement, it's a vision for reproductive freedom, it's a right to have a child, it's a right to not have children, and this next part is really as important as the other parts. It's the right to birth and parent our children with dignity, and the right to live and parent our children in safe and healthy environments. So reproductive justice understands the ability of any person to control their destiny is directly related to the conditions of their communities. It looks at the intersections of discrimination in social, political, and economic systems, and it sheds lights on the barriers that these systems produce. And then we, reproductive justice advocates, fight against the barriers that prevent Black people and other people of color from exercising their rights. That's reproductive justice.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Attention families, Milwaukee Public Museum wants to remind you that Kohl's Thank You Thursdays are in full swing. Receive free access to MPM's permanent exhibits on the first Thursday of every month. Milwaukee Public Museum would like to thank Kohl's for their support and making this program possible. Visit MPM's website today for more information and to book your reservations. mpm.edu/KTYT. That's mpm.edu/KTYT.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
All right, so there are 290 counties in America that are less than 50% white. So I would call these majority minority counties. There's 290 of them that the New York Times identified. In 2020, those 290 majority minority counties, which were already Democratic, shifted 0.2 of a point more Democratic in 2020. Here's the kicker. Those majority minority counties, which Milwaukee is not yet a majority minority county. So a majority minority county, another example would be LA County, Los Angeles, or Cook County, Chicago, or Wayne County, Detroit. Atlanta is different because it's weird how they do Atlanta because it doesn't make any sense to me how a single city that has a mayor, a common council, a police chief can be in several different counties, but Atlanta is like spread across 2 or 3 different counties. But I can't even call Atlanta because Atlanta is a county seat of 2 or 3 other counties. But anyways, of the 290 counties in America that are majority minority, they shifted 7 points more Republican in 2024 than they did in 2020. There are 347 counties in America that are over 25% black. That includes Milwaukee County. Of those 347 counties in America that are over 25% black, those counties shifted 2.5 percentage points more Democratic in 2020 and when they elected Joe Biden, but those same counties then shifted 4.1% more Republican on Tuesday. The Hispanic counties, I don't know who gonna talk to them. Any of y'all volunteer to talk to the Hispanics? Do y'all know Spanish? Yo hablo un poquito español, pero mi español es no bueno. Yo tengo vocabulario muy pequeño. That's my Spanish, and I can't really make a compelling case with the Hispanics with that little bit of Spanish. All right, what the Hispanic counties do? There are 228 counties that are over 25% Hispanic. Those counties shifted 0.9 percentage points more toward Trump in 2020, but they shifted 10 percentage points more Trump on Tuesday. So they voted more Trump by a factor of 10. The college educated. There are 43 counties where 50% or more of the population has a college degree. In 2020, those 43 counties that have a 50% or more college-educated population shifted toward Biden by 6.1 percentage points. Those counties that have a population that is 50% or more college graduates shifted 4 points more toward Trump on Tuesday. And remember how Trump said he loves the poorly educated? He meant it. And guess what? They love him too. There are 1,266 counties where 20% of the population, less than 20% of the population has a college degree. Let me make sure I say that right. There are 1,266 counties in America. This is out of 3,100 counties. So like 40%, right? 40% of the counties where less than 20% of the people have a college degree. Okay. There's 1,266 of those counties. In 2020, they were 2.5 percentage points more likely to vote for Donald Trump. On Tuesday, there were 4.8 percentage points more likely to vote for Donald Trump. So even they shifted to the right. And these are already right-leaning counties. Now, here's the monster one right here. This is the monster. There are 302 counties in America. They're probably mostly in Florida, in the Southwest, like Arizona. There are 302 counties in America where the population is 65 or older. So the majority of the people are basically seniors and retirees, okay? In 2020, mostly because of COVID, I bet, they were 1.6 percentage points more likely to vote for Joe Biden. In fact, Joe Biden won those counties by an average of 1.6 additional points. Those counties where the majority of the population is 65 or older voted for Donald Trump 5 percentage points more on Tuesday. So there you have it. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back for hour 2.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hello, Milwaukee. Did you know that the average American doesn't get enough fiber in their diet, and this can affect everything from your cholesterol, blood sugar, and your weight? We have a special offer for Truth listeners that you can take advantage of today on our wonderful fiber gummies. Buy one bottle of fiber gummy for $13.50 and get free shipping. Call now, 800-632-0559. That's 800-632-0559. Or go to invitehealth.com and use promo code MIL1. That's MIL1. Get your gummy today.
It's a big week for Educators Credit Union during College Scholarship Month on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Tap into Truth Be Told with DT and Telly this Wednesday at 8 a.m. as they will be joined by Victor Frazier, Director of Community Engagement at Educators Credit Union. They will highlight the $70,000 in scholarship Educators Credit Union gives to 35 outstanding high school seniors in southeastern Wisconsin. You won't want to miss this interview.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
What's going on, Truth Nation and all the juicy jammers tapping in? Yes, it is your boy Benjamin, and y'all already know how we rockin'. Make sure that you do open up your ears, because right now you're about to listen to a snippet from our lovely guest that we had on Election Day, the Kamala Harris. Tap in. Can Jam with Juice come to the White House and get some of those good collard greens that you have?
You know, that's the one thing I have to tell you through this campaign. I have not been cooking, and you know I love to cook, and I will put my collard greens up against anybody.
Wow. Madam VP, I heard you got some good dressing too, but I just wanted to tell you, my auntie, y'all gonna have to compete. I'm sorry. Y'all gotta compete.
I'm up for the challenge. I am up for the challenge.
Now that you've been listening to that, Truth Nation and all the juicy jammers listening, make sure that you go check out the full interview live on our YouTube page. It's all there. All right, and as I always say, it's amazing.
We are the home of Milwaukee Black Talk. 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I've got the Democratic super ticket in 2028. The way things stands right now, again, this is before Donald Trump has selected anyone to work in his cabinet. We don't know what his agenda is. We have no idea what he's going to do. Let me tell you why I have a level of respect for him. So he's facing some trouble, as you guys know. And Donald Trump needed a jury verdict. The biggest jury verdict was the American people and their votes, knowing who he is, because it's not a secret. We know what he's done. We know what he said. We know about the felonies. We know about the impeachments. We knew all of that. Donald Trump was facing a jury of his peers, the American people. Knowing that he could pardon himself, at least for the federal offenses, the state offenses, not so much, the American people had to make a decision. You got to keep in mind also, we are going back to a tough on crime era in the United States of America. So black people, black men in particular, that means you. You have the liberal state of California that had a bunch of ballot measures on their most recent ballot, wanting to reinstate penalties for crimes, wanting people to serve longer mandatory sentences in jail when they commit certain crimes. It's the article, I don't know where it is. I got so many articles here, y'all. Either Oregon or I think it's Oregon, maybe, Washington State, one of them, that decriminalized certain drugs are now recriminalizing them because even left-leaning, liberal, deep blue states are now getting tougher on crime. So think about what that's going to mean for red states, conservative states, and what is that going to mean for the Trump administration when they see that Americans are concerned about crime. Here's something else that we missed, like the damn economy, because now I got to do an autopsy on why the Democrats lost, because I don't want y'all blaming her. Because if we blame Kamala Harris, she didn't do this, or she should have went here, she should have did that, then the next black woman, or the next woman for that matter, that runs for high public office, we are going to make that woman wear the scars of Kamala Harris. Kamala did what she was supposed to do. She didn't. Stop saying that we didn't vote for her. We did vote for her when Joe Biden picked her. In fact, Joe Biden picking Kamala Harris is probably why he did as well as he did. So we did vote for her. Now, she didn't get selected in a primary process. Joe Biden did, because at the time we needed someone to put this country on a much more stable track so we could level everything out and then begin to move forward. Now, Joe Biden did that until he started fading. But I don't want people to blame her like she did something wrong. There were things that we missed. We missed the shift to the right of basically every constituent group in the country. The shift to the right of African-American men. Now we're in a tough on crime era as well, meaning that black men probably are getting tougher on crime at the exact same time. But we missed that too, because we kept talking about, oh, crime is low, and it is. Homicides are down something like 23%. Crime in just about every category except for like shoplifting on the West Coast is the only crime I think that's technically up. But if local media keeps covering it and we keep talking about it and discussing it, that's why you don't hear me talk about crime. Like, I don't like go and see what's on the local newspapers headlines and talk about who got shot, because then it'll make people think that crime is happening more often than it is. So I'll let y'all read about crime. Like, I don't need to talk about it. If I talked about every single person that got injured, that got shot, or got in a car accident, that's all I would ever discuss. And then people would think that that's the only thing that is happening on Black Talk Radio, that, oh, crime is out of control. That's why I don't talk about it. If y'all want to find out about crime stuff, you can do that on your own, but I don't waste my airtime talking about that, because it will give the perception that crime is getting worse and worse and worse. However, there is a lot of American media that does talk about crime constantly, and people are thinking like, oh, wow, crime is getting out of control. And that makes people panic. Residents panic, citizens panic, voters panic. But we're at the same time telling them, no, crime is down. Car theft is down. If your car just got stolen last week, Thursday, and I tell you like, oh, car theft is down 14% over the last 6 months, that doesn't matter to you because your car just got stolen. So we dismiss the subjective feelings that people have about crime. Just like the economy, we kept telling people that are still struggling, whose paychecks are not going far enough, people that are dealing with the expensive cost of just living, getting from point A to point B. I figure it costs me like $100 to wake up just to go to bed again. I gotta eat. It's cold, so I gotta have my little heat on at the house. We Energy is gonna love me this winter, right? I gotta buy something. I need to buy a new pair of shoes, or a shirt, or something. I always gotta buy something. It costs $100. I got to use energy. I got my vehicle. I got to drive my vehicle to my commute home, commute to work, run my little errands. You know what I mean? Got to go to the store. Got to do this. Got to pay this other bill. It's $100 a day, basically. Now, I can withstand $100 a day, give or take. However much it costs if you divide my mortgage by 30 days, right? Divide all my bills by 30 days that I pay. Probably $100 a day, give or take. For some people, they don't have $100 a day to get from point A to point B, to wake up just to go back to bed again. And I think we dismiss that by just looking at the data and the facts and not actually talking to people about what their real economic situations are. Now, I think Kamala Harris did that. She wanted to put together an opportunity economy. It sounded good. Here's something else we run into. There's two things that black folks do not take seriously. Therefore, when people try to put these policies together, we think they don't count. And I don't know what we're going to do to get over this, because there's going to be more policies that look at where we are lagging the most, but we are lagging the most because these are oftentimes the things that we know the least about. I encourage black folks to buy houses all the time because we complain about we don't own nothing. These other people are coming into our neighborhood and they buying everything. Then buy it. Get a house. Kamala Harris want to give you $25,000 down payment for a house. But some of y'all, and I'm just tired of it now, black folks will make up excuses for stuff that require too much responsibility. And yeah, I'm talking to you. Sherwin, I don't want to buy a house because I might got to shovel the snow. So let me get this straight. So you're going to pay $1,400 a month in rent, own nothing, gain nothing, have no equity, so somebody else can shovel your snow. Yup. Sure, sometimes the sink be getting clogged. I don't want to call the plumber. Your landlord is not going to unclog your sink for 6 months. I know, but I don't want to have to pay a plumber $150 that can be in and out in 4 minutes. I don't want to buy the house. But then if you have an elected official or a politician or a governor or a president that says we want to offer first-time home buyer down payment assistance to make it easier for you to get into a house. I don't be wanting to do that. But then we'll turn around and say that elected official, that politician, that president, that governor didn't do nothing for you. Another one is healthcare. We are dying and sicker than anybody else. We want to give you low-cost health care, access to health care, invest more in healthcare education, more healthcare clinics in your neighborhood, in your community. Make sure your damn hospitals stay open because we love to get shot. We love it. We want to invest more in healthcare. I don't like going to the doctor, Sherwin, because sometimes they give me bad news. So when someone wants to invest in your healthcare, you're saying, again, that they're not doing anything for you. No, it's just you don't want to take advantage of it. I just don't like when we do that. Just say, wow, I appreciate XYZ, Democrat, Republican, Independent, whoever wanted to invest in healthcare resources in the black community. But then you need to admit that you don't want to go to the doctor. So don't say they're not doing anything for you. I'm starting to believe that the only thing you can do for black people is just give us free money with Donald Trump's name signed on the check. That will count. Well, we'll count that. He will put your black ass in jail forever and then execute you, even if you are innocent. But boy, he sure gave me a $1,400 check. I like that guy. I like his border policies. That's insane to me. Now, some of it is also education. I'd like to think that with each successive election cycle, black people learn a little bit more about civics. But what is also becoming much more apparent is that civics education is not delivered to black children and young adults when they're in school. And that's on purpose. Because if you knew how it worked, you would know how they are screwing you. And right now, they don't want you to know how you're getting screwed. It's also why we come out of school most times and we don't know anything about money. Teaching somebody about money and how money works and how supply chain works, that's like military warfare style stuff. They're never going to teach us that. We think that owning a black business, which is a very broad category, is a way to economic salvation. Maybe. So we may own the business, and maybe the business does well. I don't know. What's a black business? I mean, being president used to be black business endeavor. I don't know. Maybe you got a bakery or something. So we'll have a bakery, and we bake the cakes and the pies and all of the things. Like Mr. Dye's Pies, right around the corner from me, right here at the 3rd Street Market Hall. Oh, they got pasties now. Did y'all know that? I just discovered they got pasties in Mr. Dye's Pies. And guess what happened? When I discovered they got pasties in Mr. Dye's Pies, because, sometimes when I leave a radio station, I'm a little hungry. You know what I mean? It's lunchtime. I get done at noon every day. I'm hungry at noon. Don't blame me. And I don't really eat breakfast. I ain't got time for breakfast. Plus, I'm not hungry in the morning. So at lunchtime, I'm hungry. So I found out they got pasties in Mr. Dye's Pie. They got a vegetable pasty. Because, save for the chicken wings that I ate on election night. Cut me some slack. I was stressed out. Mr. B's makes a nice chicken wing. What do you want me to do? Don't blame me. Blame Craig. Craig, if you're listening, stop making such a delicious and succulent fall off the bone chicken wing. He's got one. It's like a honey, saucy honey, sunny honey, saucy. It's very delicious. I lick my fingers. However, I digress. So I find out at Mr. Dye's Pies, they got pasty. Ricky, I told you. You saw me come from Mr. Dye's one day. He said, "Oh, your fat ass getting a whole pie, ain't you?" I said, "No, I am not, sir. I'm getting a vegetable pasty from Mr. Dye's." And Ricky said, "Oh, they got pasties over there." I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay." And then Ricky disappeared. Poof. Now they sell out. I tried to get one yesterday. I was looking forward to it. You ever look forward to some food and you be thinking about it, and then you can't wait to eat it, and then they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir, we're sold out." I wanted to cuss him out, but I know it wasn't his fault. So, okay, we'll own the bakery, but we don't have a stake in the supply chain. What they do, when I say they, those that are successful in business. So if I have a bakery, I'm going to need eggs, I'm going to need flour, I'm going to need sugar, I'm going to need butter. Well, I need to own the flour distribution company. I need to own the chicken farm so I have ownership over my eggs. You see what I mean? Like, they own the entire supply chain for everything that they need to make their finished goods. And when they own the supply chain, if I have a bakery and I own the mill that makes the flour, not only am I able to source my own flour from my mill, I then can sell my flour to other bakeries, preferably other black-owned bakeries. So the black-owned mill that has the flour that I need for my bakery, I then can source my flour to other businesses, and that is how you recycle your dollar. We think as end consumers, when we go and shop at a black business, we're recycling the dollar. Not really. Recycling the dollar comes from the supply chain. Go into a business, any kind of business whatsoever, and look at all the different products that they have. All the different finished goods that you can purchase with your money. Think about where those things are made, where they are produced, and where they are assembled. A lot of times those businesses own the companies, own the businesses that make and that furnish the products that they actually are selling. That is how you recycle the dollar. So when it comes to business, we are way far behind. We have a product in which we sell for a profit, and that can be good. But the real money comes from owning all of the different channels and all of the different ingredients that you need for your product, because then you're making money from the ruta to the tuta. So we have a long way to go in business. But if you are trying to tell African Americans, hey, we want to help you become entrepreneurs, it's not just about you getting some money so you can find a building, so you can find some space, and you rent the space and you lease the space and you got to get your equipment. You need to be much more involved in who you are buying your products from and try and use your small business loan to buy them out so you own the supply chain. So not only are you supplying yourself with the goods that you need to make your finished product, you then can sell that commodity to somebody else. That's how it's supposed to work. All right. Craig says, if a felon can't vote, why would you put a felon in office? Some of them have relatives that are felons that they wouldn't even trust to be in their own houses, let alone run their household. I think there's something about Donald Trump's relatability because he represents a rebuke of the system. And I can't analyze that accurately. You'd have to ask somebody who's actually in that situation. Craig says, Sherwin, I'm sorry. Something is definitely wrong with this election. America actually put a 34-count felon, convicted rapist, and bigot as leader of the free world. I wonder about the mental state of America. Is very telling. Well, that is the mental state of this country. Donald Trump represents something. He represents something that Kamala Harris does not. And also look at the largest voting bloc in this country is. It's white women. Next is white men. They put Donald Trump in office. That's a them problem. We offered an alternative to them. But the alternative to Donald Trump is a mirror that reflects back the diversity of America. We have to somehow, some kind of way, convince a plurality of Caucasian people of any and every age group and every level of education, urban, rural, suburban, that people of color, minorities, let me just say black people, we ain't trying to hurt you. We have no interest in that. We don't have the time, the effort, and the energy to focus on trying to hurt you. We're trying to move forward and repair things in our own damaged communities. We don't got the effort and the energy to try and hurt you. And I think that is what they fear, because they did have a lot of time, effort, and energy. I mean, like centuries, and a Declaration of Independence, and a Constitution, and a whole bunch of state laws, and a whole bunch of state constitutions dedicated to hurting us, and Supreme Court decisions dedicated to hurting us. We ain't got time. That's too much work. Black folks are efficient when we govern. We don't got time to harm somebody individually. That's stupid. We want to help everybody, including ourselves. So that's a conversation I think we're going to need to have. And I don't know how we're going to have it or who we're going to have it with. I think we just need a bunch of brokers, or we need negotiators from our community to go and talk to the thought leaders in other communities. So each community has, I learned this term 20 years ago when I was a constituency director for the Kerry Edwards campaign. When these out-of-town campaign folks, when all the consultants come in from Washington, D.C., or from wherever the hell they're coming from to work in Wisconsin to put together our political strategy from a national level, they want to meet with the intelligentsia. Marilyn Davis, probably one of the premier political strategists in the world, was stationed in Wisconsin during the 2004 presidential election. So she and I met first when she first arrived. And she's from Columbia, South Carolina. She said, hey, Sherwin, who are the intelligentsia in the city of Milwaukee? The Jewish black intelligentsia, the white folks, the black intelligentsia. Like, who are the leaders? Who are the thought leaders in these different respective communities. And I had to think about that. I was like, And we assembled a list, and that is who you meet with, that is who you talk to find out what those different constituencies want and need from the Democratic nominee. So we need to have a meeting of the intelligentsias and just kind of hash something out. Like the Latino Hispanic intelligentsia. And a lot of times it's like the head of their chambers of commerce, or I would have to say Jose Perez is probably in some form or fashion a leader of the Latino intelligentsia because he is the current City of Milwaukee Common Council president. And you get all these people to get together and come up with an idea and a plan, and maybe they can agree, maybe they don't, because they're always going to be wanting to put their community forward, but there has to be some level of compromise because when it comes to an election, we either vote one way or we vote the other. So maybe we need to have that happen. And we have time to do it because in 2028, we're going to elect the super ticket. It is Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania as the presidential nominee and Governor Wes Moore of Maryland. That is a super ticket. Charisma, intelligence, common sense policies. I hate to say this, but they are men. They're respected. They're not no wimps, punks, or pushovers, and they will make J.D. Vance, who will run for his party's nomination in the 2028, they'll make him look small. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM, the 2028 Democratic Super Ticket, Governor Josh Shapiro and Governor Wes Moore of Maryland. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What's good, y'all? This is 101.7 The Truth's Telly Hughes, and I am Milwaukee. The goal of Truth Be Told with DT and Telly is to provide a platform for citizens of Milwaukee and Truth Nation to have their voices heard about concerns that have daily, direct impact. So join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the award-winning 101.7 The Truth, Milwaukee Black Talk.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With limited incomes not keeping up with the lingering effects of inflation, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.kwwf.org.
Educators Credit Union is dedicated to helping college students along their journey. Each year, they award $70,000 in scholarships to 35 outstanding high school seniors in southeastern Wisconsin. So, mark your calendars. Applications open on January 13th, 2024. They also offer resources like the ECU College Planning Center to help students successfully prepare for college. For more information on these tools and to apply for the scholarship, visit ecu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
There's something about a plate of warm cookies that sends you back in time. Relive your childhood memories with this year's We Energies Cookie Book. Pick up your copy and start creating new memories. Go to weenergies.com to find a distribution event near you. Thank you for making us a part of your family traditions. From all of us at We Energies, we offer you warm wishes for a bright holiday season. This message was paid for by the stockholders of WEC Energy Group.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Martin says, Sherwin, you can be a felon with felonies, and the government cannot discriminate because they gave it to you. all brothers with felonies go to work for the government. Nah, that's not how that works. Don't get it twisted, y'all. Donald Trump is not a normal human being. And I think too many people thought like, oh, Donald Trump has felonies and he's running for president. I can do whatever I want. No, the hell you can't. You cannot. States can still discriminate. Employers can still discriminate. They can. Now, sometimes they don't. We need labor so bad that a lot of jobs in different industries will hire people with felonies on their background. Now, it depends on what you did, though. If you robbed a bank, they're not going to hire you to be a teller. So that's not going to happen. The other confusion was because there are a lot of disenfranchised felons that have lost their right to vote. And so people were wondering, well, how in the hell can Donald Trump vote when he's a felony? All right. So Donald Trump voted in Florida. His felonies are from New York. Florida prevents you from voting if the state in which you got your felony prevents you from voting, then you can't vote in Florida. Okay, if you have, let me make this because it's kind of confusing. If you got your felony in Florida and you're on paper, you cannot vote in Florida, okay? Donald Trump did not commit his felony in Florida. He committed it in New York. Because New York allows felons to vote, Florida respects the law of the state in which your felony was issued. So because New York allows their felons who are out of confinement to vote, probably a Democratic law Donald Trump is taking advantage of, Florida reciprocates and respects New York law. Now, if Trump would have gotten his felony in Florida, which his classified documents case, which is unsettled, is a felony, but he has not yet been convicted for it, then he would not be able to vote, but could still run for president because the ultimate jury is the American people. Just take a piece of history. Do you know how many times during the Jim Crow civil rights era where a white person committed a horrible crime against a black person leading up to and including murder? And there's a majority white, let me not say majority white, because for a period of time in America, black people could not serve on juries. So we never had a jury of our peers. So there could be a white man who committed a murdered a black person. And then they select the jury, and the jury, with all the evidence there is in the world, exonerates and acquits that white man of murdering that black person. America did that with Donald Trump, but in a less hyperbolic way. They know about his criminal convictions. Here's the other thing about Trump. He's going to commit more crime. But here's his saving grace now because the U.S. Supreme Court has given him what I'm going to call functional immunity. Anything that he does in his duties as president, which is vast. Remember, the executive branch of the United States is almost infinitely big. It's 4.1 million people. Anything that Donald Trump does while he is president of the United States and executing the duties assigned to him by the U.S. Constitution, no matter what it is not considered a crime. Let's talk to Al. Al, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing good. First thing I want to say, I came over, I made a couple of discoveries, and it kind of, took me back a little bit. What I realized with the Latinos, a lot of for the male Latino, they're looking to lighten their population because they feel they got the skin color in here. But they fail to realize racist white people look at Latinos as foreign niggas, because they feel that's because really that's all they call them, except they got the skin color in here. That's how they think. Also, when you look at the black non-voters, I don't know why they're getting so upset because even though you pay taxes, your vote doesn't count because you sat on your brown round and you didn't vote. And then what I was seeing is that a lot of the people who voted for Trump, they really don't read that much. And, for a lot of them, they're not educated. They don't read. And then when I hear a lot of them talk about working for slave wages, somewhere down the line they have ties to struggle. Like you say, when you hear people say making decisions at the gas pump, you knew before you went to the gas pump you didn't have no money. But they never talk about what they can do for themselves. They look at him as welfare and probably another $600 check, which served nobody no purpose. And then they also look at him as a god. Because you figure like this, since I don't look like you, maybe you will like me more if I think like you. And then you know that one woman who got out of prison, and she got a lazy eye. She always to be talking about somebody messing with white men and all this. She made a statement and said that black women need to focus on raising their kids. But my thing is, how can you tell black women how they need to raise their kids when you was in prison sharing panties and yeast infections? And your own household is in despair. And here's one more thing, too. I noticed with some of our black people, they always turn a blind eye to bull sugar honey iced tea. So like yesterday, I heard a couple of people saying, oh, listen, they had Cardi B and Glorilla, and they're pushing whole culture, right? Right, so they're pushing whole culture, but they have absolutely nothing to say when it comes to a man using his two middle fingers. Also, I asked the question, have you ever been a hoe in your life?
Al, I heard you say that. I listened to that part of the program.
And my thing is, if you say somebody paid my cell phone bill, that's the foundation to whole economics, okay? Ain't nobody going to pay your bill, and they're not getting no throat and no ass. Let's just keep it 100. So when people push these false narratives, they're pushing lies, and that's what's messing us up.
Oh, Rick, you hung up on him because you thought he cussed? He didn't cuss. Did he say that? He said the P word? I didn't hear that. All right. Well, did y'all hear Al say the P word? I got a request to do my lazy eye impression, so I think I was a little bit distracted. So I heard Al call Tori's show yesterday. I listened a little bit of Tori's show because Tori was gloating. But sorry, Tori. Your construction worker from the Village People, Eric Hovde, he lost. Ain't no way, dude. Ain't no way. Eric Hovde dressing up like basically in drag as a construction worker of the Village People. And here's how I know that I think Eric Hovde is not telling us the entire truth about what kind of man he is. Because he really doubled down on Tammy Baldwin being a lesbian. And a lot of times when people double down on that kind of stuff, it's because they're hiding the actual truth. Al, did you say the P word, Al?
Absolutely not. Yeah, I did not say no P. I did not say no P word.
Yeah,
no,
I didn't think you did either.
I'm on that. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say they're pushing lies, and when you hear black people lying, you make sure you stay on them like stank on sugar, honey, iced tea. Because we have black people who have lost their life and lost everything due to black people telling lies. So I want to ask you black people, when you hear black people lying just for the hell on it, stand on your business and get on them. And as I say this, I ain't never been married, but I have been a hoe many a times. But for somebody to sit there and tell you they ain't never been a hoe and they changing wigs, it's like somebody standing at the pulpit who telling you they ain't never cheated on their wife and made outside kids. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks, Al, for that. Okay. I got to take a commercial break, though. There's Meech online, too. I said he could call after the election, but if he runs his mouth, I'll tell you what, I'm going to let him run his mouth because you know that everything y'all say and everything I say is recorded forever and put on the internet forever. I have a feeling that Donald Trump is going to be, let's just call him an American political specimen that will live on through the ages of what he does in his next 4 years. I'm not going to panic about it now because I don't know what to panic about just yet. But anyone that is happy that he got elected and got defended is going to defend him. Let's just wait until we see what happens when Donald Trump is president. So here, let me make this commitment right now. when cops start shooting black people in the face and in the back and shooting us in our cars, no GoFundMes, no marches, no protests, because we voted for it, right, black men? When you get murdered and slaughtered and beaten and they lock you up in a trunk and put the handcuffs on you and they beat you and they pee on you and the cops do whatever they want to, don't go, Sherwin, can you please put me on the air because the cop, who did you vote? I voted for Trump. I hang up on him. Click, click. No, none of that. There will be none of that. Y'all ever heard of the saying, a hard head makes a soft ass? Well, get ready for it. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. America's going to be so much fun for the next 4 years. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Milwaukee College Prep, they believe that every child deserves a chance to reach their full potential. Unfortunately, in Milwaukee, this is not always the case. Research shows the educational opportunity gap between white and black students is twice the national average. This is why Milwaukee College Prep is committed to eliminating this gap. In fact, MCP scholars tested advanced or proficient at a rate nearly 8 times higher than the other predominantly black public schools in Milwaukee. Provide your student with the best educational opportunity by visiting MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com. College bound, character strong.
Tune into the award-winning 101.7 The Truth this Saturday at 10 a.m. for another episode of Diversity and Excellence powered by Erie Insurance and hosted by Dr. Ken Harris and Fred Johnson, the Vice President and Wisconsin State Manager for Erie Insurance. They'll be joined by Doc Kurt, an auto adjuster at Erie Insurance. He will walk you through a step-by-step process of what auto adjusters do and give you tips on what to look out for to make sure you maximize on the value of your vehicle. Don't miss Diversity and Excellence powered by Erie Insurance this Saturday at 10 a.m. on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I didn't know that somebody threatened Liz. No, they threatened Al. If Al called Liz out of her name again, because I don't even know what words I can and can't say on the air, so I don't say any of them. I didn't know that. Do y'all know that Liz doesn't work here? Can I just I'm not like throwing shade. She doesn't work here. She's an invited guest. So that's whatever. I I'm listening to my colleagues' shows more because I'm just curious as to what the hell people talk about. I usually don't listen to talk radio because, but I've been listening to DT and Telly. I really listened to them yesterday because after the election, like they're the first show on our lineup and they kind of set the tone for the day, and I wanted to hear what Denise and Telly were talking about. And I read something. What the hell did I read in the chat yesterday? There's obviously a lot of blame that's going on, but there was something specific that I don't know. Maybe it'll come back to me. But no, I do listen to my colleagues' shows and to see what you guys are saying, and because they have different listeners. There's people that when I come on, so they listen to DT and Telly. They're in the YouTube. They're watching DT and Telly in the YouTube. And then my show starts, them people log off. They don't want to listen. Oh, Sherwin, fine with me. But I'm curious as to what people say on other shows and the callers, et cetera, et cetera. Let's talk to Meech, or I'm sorry, Winky Blue. Hello there. Your guy won. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, sir. I think I would have extended the same gratitude to you. However, listen, my man, I listen to everybody. I scan the band, just listening to different shows. And I just want to ask the question, if I got a colleague that works with me, I don't care what I'm doing. I don't care if I'm sitting in my truck and I've got a load of gravel I got to take somewhere, and my son had the truck before, and somebody else was discussing somebody that worked with us. I just couldn't bear it, man. It's really rough. And I'm talking about the gentleman that just called in, and it's sad because regardless of our political persuasions or our political beliefs, we still are the same. I mean, we still in this mess together, man. But I wanted to call in because I wanted to let you know that Trump did it, and hey, what can I say? We're talking about 4 years from now. I don't know what 4 years from now gonna hold, but I do know one thing, that if he does what he actually says, we can remove some of these immigrants, and if we provide a real penalty for coming into this country, we can halt some of this stuff. And the penalty, I mean, if it calls for jail, it calls for jail. If me and you go to another country, man, hey, if they can't put espionage on us, they'll put some kind of violation on us for being in that country, not legally, properly, the right way. And it might, sometimes it calls for long jail terms. I mean, sometimes it might even call for execution, man. I'm not saying we would want to do that because we're a little bit more humane than other countries. But there are countries that would not allow what we're doing, Mr. Hughes. And you said something else. You said, well, let him call in as long as he don't run his mouth, and I call him back. Mr. Hughes, let me say this to you, man. I like you as a person, but I want you to understand something, man. I call in because basically I'm bored sitting up here doing something. I have a political input, and you allowed me to do that. Well, you have allowed me to do it, and I go back to the first day you started. You know what I'm saying? And I was impressed with some of the knowledge that you have. You call it now conspiracy theory, but I think you were on to something, and that's what draws me to you. You were able to think outside the box when most people, 1290 and other people, were inside the box. You was thinking like people like me, outside the box, and that's why I'm so controversial. And it seems like I'm a pessimist because I really am a pessimist, really, because I'm always looking at the most I can lose, and anything above the most I can lose, I'm a winner. So, but I just want you to know, I want you to understand something, man, that Trump did it, and I'm right now looking at the gas. He ain't been in office 24 hours. Gas $2.59 already. Hey, man, I'm out here, man, but you let that guy Al call in and say all of that stuff. Why do you do that, man?
Because I allow people to speak their mind. Al calls all the shows. Don't just blame me. Al calls every show on our network.
He gets away with it. He gets away with it like he's a special ed person. That boy got his intelligence. I mean, and he get away with stuff like he don't know no better. Like we're afraid of him. And see, that's one thing that the Trumpers is talking about dealing with, man. See, this hate speech thing, we pushed it as black people. We pushed hate speech.
What hate speech did you hear Al say? Are you the person that threatened Al yesterday?
With Sherwin.
Oh, Ricky?
No, brother. Hey, brother. I'm not cut that way. I'm not cut from that kind of cloth.
All right.
That's a fool person.
Did you hear somebody?
Like
I didn't know that this happened. Did you hear somebody threaten Al over what Al said?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, I didn't hear that. But listen, man, he's calling me and talking to these people about hoe culture. I don't even think he might do know something about hoeing, man, because them people is out there right now on North Avenue.
Come on, Winky. We all know about hoeing. It's the best thing going.
Hey, man, look here, I understand that prostitution might be the solution in some people's cases, but guess what? A person that don't know that and just running his mouth, I just blow that up. Well, you done read a book, but some of those people is out there on North Avenue every night. You think you're finna get a woman, man, and them people is up in there out there, man, got socks in their breath, in their chest, saying they got breath, running up and down the street. So he might do know something about that. But I do know one thing.
Now you got him calling back now. Listen, here's what we're going to do. If you want to call and you want to talk about, the election and Donald Trump winning, and he actually explained
that's what I called about,
but
brother. That's what I called about.
Because I don't like when people talk about other callers, because that puts me in an odd situation.
Well, you just let him talk about your colleague. You let him talk about your colleague, man.
She's not my colleague. She doesn't work here. She don't work here.
Yeah, well, he was on your colleague's
show. Why don't we do this? This is what we're gonna do, Winky. Then call back on Tori's show when Al calls Tori's show.
If I got time.
Okay, well,
if I got time to fool with him. But listen to this here, man.
Or on my show. I got to go, though.
Well, the thing is, you made another statement about Eric Hubdy. You said he looked like the village people, man, and he might be hiding something in. Now, let me say this to you. When people talk about them people, and then they use that kind of game that you just used, that your person must be hiding something, the reason why he's talking about it, that's to shame me down, that I won't say anything about the lifestyle, and I'll let it go like it's going.
You mean to tell me that he's not the construction worker from the village people? You don't think he is?
Brother,
you didn't answer.
All I know. No, he's not. All I know is he got 47,000 votes in the inner city of Milwaukee, and I think that had he did what the other people did, he would have received more votes. But because he was ran by the state Republican Party, which is headed off by a couple of black people that will not allow real players to get close to the machine, he lost. Tim Michaels could have won. Tim Michaels lost by 20,000 votes, I believe. He could have won. He could have picked up a lot of votes in the city of Milwaukee. But and it's like this all across the country, man, there's a few black people in the Republican Party all across the country that have fooled white people into believing that they have their thumb on the black community's pulse when it's not the truth. The real people that's out here working, they ain't got their fingers on them. And they're really afraid to get down and get in this mud, man. To really, really get in this mud. But they fool white people. They're the ones that's keeping black people out the Republican Party, man. Black people, because they don't want us to get too close to them. And guess what? When we walk into the room, and I walk into the room, and we talking, the light go on in white people's minds, heads. Who is those guys? Who are those guys? We need those guys. First thing happens, them same black people that's getting all that money, they get in the ears of them white people and say, they're too radical. We shouldn't have those guys around, And that's who keeping us out the party. So we got to get rid of them Negroes, and guess what? We gonna go to the table, man, and make something happen for black folks. With that, I'm out.
All right. Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's College Month on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth, and we want to help your young scholars get those free scholarship dollars. All month long, we will be highlighting local universities who offer full tuition scholarships and local organizations who help students find thousands of dollars in scholarships each year. So be sure to tune into 101.7 The Truth College Month so you can learn how your scholar can get those scholarship dollars. College Month on The Truth is sponsored by Educators Credit Union and Concordia University, Wisconsin.
This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Reproductive justice is a framework, it's a movement, it's a vision for reproductive freedom, it's a right to have a child, it's a right to not have children, and this next part is really as important as the other parts. It's the right to birth and parent our children with dignity, and the right to live and parent our children in safe and healthy environments. So reproductive justice understands the ability of any person to control their destiny is directly related to the conditions of their communities. It looks at the intersections of discrimination in social, political, and economic systems, and it sheds lights on the barriers that these systems produce. And then we, reproductive justice advocates, fight against the barriers that prevent Black people and other people of color from exercising their rights. That's reproductive justice.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Your drink, sir?
This virtual vacation is brought to you by Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport. For the full experience, visit flymke.com to explore our many nonstop destinations. With super convenient parking and low fares, flying from Milwaukee makes traveling so easy, it's like starting your vacation early. Fly easy, fly MKE.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Let's talk to Sherman. Thank you for holding. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Come on, how you doing today?
I'm good. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to know, for some of those people that voted for Trump, how would they feel if the police stomped their mother out and actually killed her and then sued the family for getting blood on their boot? And isn't that what they voted for? And then the police get found out guilty. I'm also if they wondering if when all these people keep on claiming about the Mexicans stuff like that, why do you never hear anybody talking about the companies that hire them? I don't understand. If you're so concerned about them taking people's jobs, what about the people that's not filling out the applications to get the job? You're never saying anything about the companies that's hiring them. They're not coming over for anything for nothing. They come over because people are hiring them. It's just amazing. I'm so disappointed in us as black folks for those ones that voted for Trump that I thought that we had more sense to that. We voted for a person that showed us at every turn that he does not like us. And somehow, some way, we think that white people are eyes are colder. I didn't hear a conversation that, I wasn't ready to vote for a woman to be president because she locked black people up. But then you ask them, how many black people did she lock up? They can't tell you. And again, Sherwin, you're going with prison for shooting 3 people, right? I deserve to go to jail. You think I needed to be walking out here with my freedom? I deserve every day of what I did to go to jail. I can't get mad at the DA for doing her or his job. That was their job. couldn't get mad at the judge, the DA, the jury. I couldn't get mad at nobody except me. Now, I was puzzled by hearing these dudes talk about this conversation, talking about she locked black people up. 9 times out of 10, the people I was talking to, they was all felons too. And I asked the questions, you know, did you deserve to go to jail? No, only got caught with a little dope. Oh, okay. Is it illegal? They couldn't understand that. No, you just want to be like the white folks. No, but you voted for the white man. That's all I want to say, man. I'm just disappointed in life right now.
We'll be all right, but thank you for calling.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. That's a good point. So if people are upset that illegals are coming to this country and they support Trump because Trump wants to deport them, okay, that's all well and good, but we do not hold the people and the companies responsible that hire those illegals, right? That's like not holding Donald Trump responsible for what he says and the damage he has done to our community. It's the exact same thing. So that's how those pieces fit together. But here's what's really going to happen. They're going to build a bunch of detention centers. They're going to start rounding up people. They're going to round up people who they think are illegal, and they're going to have to sort it all out some kind of way, and a bunch of people are going to get deported that shouldn't be deported. And here's what's going to happen. We're going to have another administration that's going to come in. They're going to give reparations to the people like we did with the Japanese internment camps. So all the Latinos and Hispanics that get rounded up in Donald Trump's sloppy mass deportation are going to end up getting reparations. And guess what? It's going to happen in black people's faces. Watch it. Mark my words. I guarantee they're going to round up a bunch of people. Yeah, we're going to make good on our promise for immigration reform. We're going to send them all back. Just like he tried to build the wall, he messed that up, right? They are going to build detention camps all over the country in every single state, and they're going to round up people based on like their last names. No respect to their citizenship, their visa status, their green cards, none of that. And they're going to send people to countries that they shouldn't be sending them to because they would have the legal rights to be in America. Then they're going to be repaired financially. They're going to get reparations because we put them basically in internment camps. And black folks are going to be sitting here with nothing. And that's going to happen. And I'm going to watch it happen, and I'm going to narrate it because, they're going to build detention camps, and they are going to start rounding people up. They're going to deputize local law enforcement. If they pull somebody over, if they come in contact with someone they think may not be an American citizen, they're going to check their ID, they're going to arrest them on the spot, and they're going to send them to a detention center. They're going to do that illegally. Trump won't get in trouble because he has immunity from the Supreme Court. Local law enforcement, they won't be getting in trouble either because it's going to be a part of their new duties under an executive order given by the Trump administration. But at some point, some court is going to make a determination that we violated their civil rights and a whole bunch of other rights, and then they're going to sue, they're going to win, and we're going to settle with them for $50,000, $100,000, $3.2 million each, and black folks will get nothing. They're going to get reparations because of Donald Trump's policies. You mark my word. Ricky, write it down. I said it on November 7, 2024. All right, Al, I'm going to let you get the last word because I got to take a break in a little while, but I know you wanted to respond to somebody or something.
Well, I'm going to be very professional because I know you said I was slightly slow. But if I'm not mistaken, when you had your talk show, didn't a woman call your show and say you were sleeping with her sister?
Not me. Make sure you're telling folks you're not talking about me.
No, I'm talking about Brother Meach, because I know Brother Meach had a talk show. And I do recall a woman calling saying you were sleeping with her sister, and she gave her name out and you hung up. But yet you're telling people you've been married. But yet you're telling people you've been married over 30 years. So how are you going to speak against any kind of whole culture when you coming in there with gator shoes with their heads on it, with a head on the book bag? What them crocodiles going to do? Wake up with the souls from the New Orleans swamp and start biting everybody? But I just wanted to ask that question. How you going to speak against whole culture? And you always speaking prostitution and cowboy boots. And mean coats in the summertime. All right, thank you very much, and you have a great day. And I hope you be good to your wife. And hopefully people who are good, they don't call no radio show and tell other people business, because when it's good, they don't talk. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
I gotta be a macho man. Southern tree. Bear a strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device and search 101.7 The Truth and hit subscribe. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's Telly Hughes from Truth Be Told with Denise Thomas and Telly Hughes, and I have to let you know that the best morning show in the country is streaming live on YouTube every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Yes, DT and I are now waking you up in the a.m. live every weekday on YouTube. So go to YouTube right now to subscribe to 1017 The Truth so you can watch Denise and I get your morning started off right. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Truth Nation, let us take a second to brag for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like President Joe Biden.
Black child poverty was cut in half in 2021. We built black wealth, 15 million jobs nationwide, more than 2.5 million for black Americans. Black wealth is up 60% since the pandemic.
Former President Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump.
Guys, we almost had a former president and very likely future president assassinated on live TV. Like, you know what that would have done for this country? You know what that would have made our country look like? We would look like a banana republic.
And Brewers All-Star and former National League MVP Christian Yelich.
Listen, you already know.
Yeah, we got we were just in LA, so we heard our fair share of Kendrick out there in LA. Dodger Stadium has one of the best sound systems in baseball too.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app, listening live on 1017thetruth.com, and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
If anyone knows the joy of rescuing animals, it's me. Just ask my rescues, who are all very important members of my family. Your life can also be forever changed by adopting a shelter pet. And it's not just about happiness your pet gets from finding a loving home, but that which you'll get from bringing them into your life. The heroes at American Humane have been helping animals for more than 140 years, whether it's rescuing animals caught in disasters, ensuring the safety of animal stars on the screen, or protecting our planet's endangered species. They go above and beyond to further their mission and make the world a kinder place for animals. Please consider adopting a shelter pet and support American Humane. You can learn more at AmericanHumane.org.
Brought to you by American Humane.
Truth Nation, stand up and tap in. This is 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. So somebody asked me why I didn't play YMCA when I was talking about Eric Hovde. And shout out to Eric Hovde. He, from his perspective, he probably ran a good race. He probably thinks that he did. I just think he was moonlighting as a construction worker from the Village People. Y'all have no idea how many times I posted that side-by-side picture on Twitter. I think I might personally be responsible for Eric Hovde's loss. Tammy, you owe me lunch at least. Seriously, Tammy, you need to make one of my mortgage payments for me because I helped you. Because when I posted the side-by-side of Eric Hovde, so he's a construction worker from the Village People. And so I posted a picture of Eric Hovde. Like it was a picture from one of his campaign flyers. And then I put a side-by-side of the construction worker from the Village People. And people were like, oh, my God, why would Eric Hovde lie and be dishonest about what he moonlights as when he's in California, because that's where he lives as well. I believe he also has a residence in Wisconsin, but he does live in California, because if y'all have houses in both places, of course you're going to be in California a lot, because California is warmer in the wintertime. I don't fault him for that. But people don't like the fact that when he's in California, he walks around wearing skin-tight jeans, and he puts like a sock in his crotch area, right? And skin-tight faded blue jeans, the construction worker tool belt, and then a plaid shirt with the sleeves rolled up, and the plaid shirt is unbuttoned down to his navel, and he wears a hard hat and those aviator sunglasses. People are like, why isn't Eric Hovde being honest with us? What else is he being dishonest about? And people are like, I can't do it. I'm going to vote for Tammy Baldwin. There's nothing wrong with the Village People. That's the song. Donald Trump plays the Village People all the time at his rallies. Have you guys noticed that? That's a theme at Donald Trump's rallies of all the songs, and everybody knows what the Village People are. Y'all know the song YMCA is? So for y'all that don't know, the Y, the Young Men's Christian Association, like back in the day, they used to have rooms where young men who were transitioning to finding housing, or if they were in town for a short period of time, you could get a room at the YMCA. This is not news to anybody, okay? Back before being gay was something that was socially acceptable, men that were seeking the attention of other men, and I'm not calling Eric Hovde gay, I'm just saying he's playing a character, and there's a theme amongst the Republicans who seem to be so LGBTQ that it seems like they're masking the fact that some of them are LGBTQ, and they are. And here's what I say to that. I want you all to be your authentic selves. If you are gay, be the gayest gay you can be. If you're straight, be the straightest straight. It makes no difference to me whatsoever. It is not intimidating to me. I don't feel insecure about my masculinity. Not one bit. Not at all. I can even say another man is handsome and have no problem with it whatsoever. Doesn't mean I want to hump him. He's just handsome. There's some men that are handsome. I happen to be one of them. However, I digress. So the YMCA they were known for where men would, get together. The Village People, ladies and gentlemen, like everybody in that group is gay except for the lead singer, or he always denied it. And they try to accuse them of being like a gay group, and no, we're not. And then they would sashay off after the interview. Everybody knows that. Can y'all sit here and tell me that Eric Hovde does not look like a construction worker from the Village People? And I'm not being condescending one bit. If you think that's being condescending, then you also agree with me, but you don't want to agree with me. And so I think it was Craig that texted in at 833-212-1017 and said, Sherwin, why didn't you play the YMCA? Because Macho Man is way gayer. I think it's probably one of the gayest songs in American culture. But then I played Sylvester. I just played the Sylvester to start my top of the hour. I told Ricky, I said, Ricky, don't play a song. He was like, oh, no. Let me guess, Sherwin. You going to either play YMCA or you going to play some Sylvester. I was like, how did you know? Sylvester's it's great.
I know you.
All right.
And I work with you long enough to know where you're going to transition into. So I say it's either going to be a Village People or it's going to be Sylvester. And I got it right. This is what I did. People don't know. This is what I deal with Sherwin. Great guy. Great human being.
I'm wonderful.
But his sense of humor is through the roof.
Through the roof.
And you just got to sit there and be like, dang it, Sherwin.
There's nothing you can do about it.
It's not.
I think black people need to stop being so damn homophobic. It's ingrained in our culture. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. We all got gay family members. Would you love your family members less because they're gay? And no, they didn't choose to be gay, because who would choose to be gay if you're already black? That's just way too much. Right? I think nobody's choosing to be gay. And I'll be honest with y'all. I used to be very homophobic. There's still some things I don't quite understand, but fair enough, because there's some things that people don't understand about black folks. And I don't want to walk around this world ignorant and let my ignorance turn into fear to where I'm afraid of people. So what year is this? 2024? It's probably 2 years ago. I was hanging out with a female friend, very good friend of mine, still my friend to this day. She said, Sherwin, I want to go dancing. I was like, cool, women love to dance. I don't know if y'all know that. Women love to go dancing. Fellas, if your relationship's getting kind of stale, take your woman out dancing. Tell her to put on a little nice dress and go dance. In fact, pick a dress out for her. Said, put that on, woman. Be ready at 7 o'clock. They actually like that. It sounds kind of like overbearing, but if you pick out what a woman wears, or if you buy her a dress, I bought you a dress. Put it on.
I know a couple women that actually like that. They like a woman. They like a man that leads.
Yeah, they do like that, right?
Oh, yeah, I know.
So she said she wanted to go dancing. I said, cool. Where you want to go? She's like, we're going to go over here. I was like, all right, because, I hold court at a place called Taylor's. Taylor's is on Jefferson Street. Warm summer nights, you're going to find me sitting on the patio. Maybe I have a cigar. Maybe I don't. Who's to say? Mind your business. But that's where I hang out. So she and I were also holding court at Taylor's. And she said, Sherwin, I want to go dancing. I said, all right, let's go dancing. I know the women folk like to go dancing. And she took me to a bar that is literally a half a block away from Taylor's that I didn't even know existed. It's just a door. There's no sign. Now it's a little bit more conspicuous than it was. And the bar is called This Is It. It's got a nickname. I can't say the nickname because the nickname is actually profane. And so
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so I was like, oh, my God, I didn't even know that this bar was here. She's like, oh, yeah, it's great. We're going to dance. The music is real good. I was like, cool. You want to go dancing? I'll go dancing with you.
I'm excited to hear this story now.
I found it very unusual that the person at the door who was checking our IDs was very much a man with a beard but was wearing full makeup. I was like, okay, well, this is what the world is. I didn't care. I was, all right. And then we order our drinks from a bartender, again, a man wearing a crop top. I was like, must be some kind of theme night tonight. Some kind of a party. And then immediately upon getting our drinks, she ushers me to the dance floor. Well, what I didn't know is that this bar, This Is It, every Friday night, they have free drag shows. And we're on the dance floor, and then I didn't, because there wasn't anybody on stage at the time, so we're dancing. She's having the time of her life. Here's what I understand about straight women. They love going to gay clubs and dancing because they can do whatever the hell they want because they don't have to worry about creepy men hitting on them and grabbing them and feeling all over them. Straight women attack gay men, and gay men they just love. They're out there partying. So she felt comfortable going there. And it was right around the corner from where we were. And at this point, I already got my drink. I'm already on the dance floor. And what am I going to do? What am I going to leave? And at that moment, I realized what kind of place this was. And all of a sudden, the music stopped. Up next, Delicious Diva. And a 6'5" black drag queen who was dressed as Marilyn Monroe comes out on the stage, does a flip, and hits the splits, and everybody went nuts. And I'm over there cheering, too. Because when you're in the moment, like, you go, girl. I am not lying to y'all. I had the absolute time of my life. And I'm thinking to myself, this is what the damn conservatives are afraid of? It was just a party. Now, I was also there with a straight woman, so everyone knew what my involvement was, right, that I was straight. And nobody messed with me. It was a pure fun time. It was great.
I think that I have no problem with gay people.
I know that, and you said it one day in the cafe.
I know because we work with, no matter in everyday life, we work with someone or we know someone that is, what I'm saying? Like, I know DJs. That's how I know that place because I'm a DJ. I know gay DJs that work there or work at La Cage. You know what I'm saying? I know, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, you want to be gay? That's on you. It's your preference. I don't care.
It's just that's the thing. It's not a preference. But also, we got to watch our language as black people. Because imagine on TMJ or on ESPN, somebody say, I have no problem with black people. I mean, we work black. If they want to be black, that's fine with me. No, human beings are human beings. That's what it is.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I don't care who somebody loves.
I respect life in all humans.
There are some men that love horrible, mean, condescending, emotionally abusive women. I have more of a problem with that than a man being in love with a woman that hurts him, harms him, steals from him, and disrespects him than two men that love each other and take care of each other.
That is mental abuse, and that is toxicity.
You see what I'm saying? So I would rather two human beings love each other, nurture each other, build each other up, take care of each other, and support each other, that's a gay couple than a straight couple where one person is harming the other. I just want people to be happy. And at this point in my life, I don't care where you get your happiness, because if you're happy, you are less likely to be condescending and disrespectful to me. Because happy people don't mess with other people. Only mean people, only sad people, only hurt people hurt people. So if you got to go and wear some high heels while you have a full face beard and you wear a feather boa, I will clap for you if that makes you happy. I've found my happiness, and once you reach this point where you can find joy in life and you're not always mad and complaining and you're always in somebody else's business, that's disgusting to me. That's childhood behavior. I got a whole life that I need to live, and here's the thing. I don't even know how many more sunrises I have, so I'm not going to waste any of my time being concerned with some of y'all do, what y'all do, unless you're voting for Trump, and then when Trump kicks all of our asses, then I'm going to have a problem with you.
Hey, Sherwin, look at him.
Live your best life. I'm too old to be concerned about what somebody else does. I can't explain half of what my family even does. And so I'm not going to waste my time trying to put myself in the frame of mind to where I can try and interpret what another human being does with their life. As long as you ain't hurting nobody, and most people aren't hurting anybody. We go out of our way to judge people. You know who the worst ones are? The damn Christians. Judgment is not for you. Neither is vengeance. Y'all should know that. I don't even read the Bible, and I know plenty Bible stuff. Leave people alone. They ain't bothering you. Same with us black folk. Leave us alone. Trump, don't come. Trump, listen, you won. You won by a lot. You beat Kamala Harris. Fair enough. Don't come messing with us. I guess we just want gas prices and checks from you every now and again. Other than that, Trump, don't come messing with us. We ain't trying to hurt no damn body. Leave us alone. Now I got to worry about being on his enemies list, because Trump has got a list of people that he's calling enemies from within, people that don't like him, that didn't support him, that spoke negatively about him. And I just realized something. I was on international British television talking negatively about Trump, not once but twice. I'm probably on the damn list. Look here, Trump. Look here. Now, hey, listen. I didn't support you. You know that. But there's reasons why I didn't support you. Because you get away with stuff the normal, average, everyday people don't get away with. I'm talking to you now, Trump. Well, I disagree with your policies. I don't like how you do stuff. I don't like how you don't accept the precedent of what a president does. I don't like all that. I don't like how you want people to be loyal to you instead of being loyal to the Constitution. Now, I don't like that. And I don't have to like it, because I'm an American and I got the freedom of the speech now. Then listen, you got 4 more years and you won by a lot. Ain't nobody challenging the election. Ain't no Democrats storming the damn Capitol on January 6, 2025, because we technically got other stuff to do. I can't go because I got to work that day. Ain't nobody trying to challenge the election and stop the peaceful transition of power. Kamala Harris said it. She's like, no, we're going to make sure it's a peaceful transition of power. Trump beat me. He won. I called the man and congratulated him. Trump, just be normal now. Seriously, don't come for, I ain't nobody messing with you like that. You won the election. All right, now I'm going to talk about you now. I am. I mean, come on. That's what I do. But give me something good to talk about, Trump, and I'll talk about that too. Is that a deal? All right. Leave gay people alone. You want to mess with somebody, mess with a straight dude that grabs women's butts in crowds. You know there's men that do that go in the crowd and grab butt. I had my butt grabbed in the crowd before, and I look behind me, and everybody looks innocent. You ever had that happen before? You're in a crowd, all of a sudden you get a goose. You're like, oh! Everybody makes the same sound effect when you get goose. It's like, oh! And you look, and everybody looks innocent. And you look at them, I know one of you are guilty. But then I usually forgive them because I don't blame them for grabbing my sweet little booty. Got a nice ass. All right, let's see what we got here. I do. Problem is, because of how I'm built, my pants sometimes, you know what I mean? I don't mean to sag my pants. I got to make sure I pull my pants up. I got to make sure I'm wearing a belt. Otherwise, you get saggy booty. Because I've had women tell me, Sherwin, if you pull your pants up, you have a nice ass. I'm like, I do. But you can't, because women don't like saggy booty when your pants are sagging like that. So I just got to make sure my pants are pulled up. But I got ass. I mean, it's not like a BBW. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm built like an upside down triangle.
You got ass, huh?
I mean, it's not fat, but it's, you know what I mean? Women tell me.
Why are we having this conversation about your cheeks, your buns?
Ricky, I think you'd understand by now. I can talk about whatever I want, and you're going to like it. I'll talk about my ass whether you like it or not. It's like Trump is going to protect women. Zach, what are you looking at? You got a problem with me?
Because Zach walked right in here when you was talking about your buns, your sesame seeds.
Can we get on with the radio show? Or
yeah.
Okay. Zach, why are you looking at me like that? I got a question for you, Zach. Did you produce Tori's show yesterday? Did somebody call in and threaten Al if he talked about Liz, said negative stuff about Liz? Did that happen?
Essentially, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Do we know who that person was? Are they a regular caller?
Yeah, they're a regular caller.
I kind of want to play that clip because I kind of want to hear it. And somebody sent me a screenshot. Like, I just want to hear it. It was in... Let me see. I shouldn't do this. It was at the 3 o'clock hour. About 30 minutes in. 3 p.m. Okay. Tori's show starts at what time? Zach, you trying to find it? Because I can find it too now. So it's on the podcast. It is 36 minutes and 36 seconds in hour 3. But are you looking at the podcast or are you looking at the YouTube? Because if I find it on the YouTube, I got to subtract our commercial times to get the actual time in which I hope I'm not starting no mess with this, but I want to hear it. But let me be abundantly clear. And this is not shade. Like, Liz doesn't work here, y'all. It's like, okay, what if some of y'all do for a living? Let's say some of y'all are a teacher, right? And what if you work at an MPS school? What if you just wanted to bring your friend to work every single day? MPS probably wouldn't allow it, right? She's Tori's guest every day, but she's not an employee here. And I say that because, like, there's stuff that we have to do as employees here. We got to go sit through trainings. We got to do these meetings. And we got to do content calls. There's a lot of stuff involved with being employed by Good Karma Brands. She doesn't have to do any of that stuff, but she gets to come every single day. So I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying, as an employee, there are different requirements that we have as someone who is not an employee. That's it. Y'all want to get mad at me for saying that? By all means, because y'all know that can't not nan one of y'all bring your friend to work every single day. They wouldn't get let in the building. All right, you see, you found the clip. It's not vulgar, is it? Okay. Apparently somebody threatened. Why am I doing this? It's either this or I'll talk about how mad I am that Kamala lost the election. Don't worry, we'll get back to the election stuff anyway. And also, those of you that missed it, the super ticket for 2024 is Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro as the Democratic nominee. And for Vice President, the Democratic nominee will be Governor Wes Moore of the state of Maryland. I think that would be an undefeatable ticket because J.D. Vance, I don't know who he's going to pick as his running mate. J.D. Vance will probably pick Eric Trump or Don Jr. as his running mate. And we need a ticket that could beat them. And I think that those two would be ideal. So take a break, come back. And we're going to play, apparently, somebody that called Tori's show yesterday. Tori was gloating yesterday. He was on one yesterday. I tuned in to Tori's show, and his background picture was a picture of Trump. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's Dr. Ken Harris, and you can watch me now live on YouTube every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m., and you can watch the best radio show in Wisconsin by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Watch me explore the issues which are shaping our community while also having fun discussions, pop culture, current events, all kind of stuff going on right here on YouTube right now by subscribing to 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube.
What distinguishes Old National Bank from other lenders in helping people buy their first home and furthering their small businesses?
One thing that really makes us stand out is our grants. We have 2 really big grants right now specifically for first-time home buyers buying in Milwaukee County. The first one is for $15,000. They have to be buying within Milwaukee County and reach certain income limits. And then the second one is for $20,000, and that is through the Federal Home Loan Bank of Indiana. We're headquartered in Indiana. as you know, Denise. So that is a second grant, and that is really the highest, most robust grant program throughout the entire southeastern Wisconsin area. So it's it's up to $35,000 essentially that a person could be receiving for their first home. If you are in a position that you're looking to buy your first home throughout Milwaukee County, please give me a call. Please contact me. I'm more than happy to help everybody that I can.
And what's your number, Anna?
Sure.
How can they reach you?
414-978-0283.
Milwaukee faces significant wealth gaps, but change is possible. Join entrepreneur Arlo Washington on November 13th for a transformative discussion on building wealth in underserved communities. Featured in the Oscar-nominated documentary The Barber of Little Rock, Washington's insights are a must-hear. Attend for free in person or online. Get your ticket at uwm.edu/SCE. Sponsored by the Tommy G. Thompson Center on Public Leadership and hosted by UWM School of Continuing Education.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law offices make our community a better place.
They are the best. For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law offices.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome back. I'm not doing this to start any beef. I'm just curious as to what may have transpired. Also, if y'all are going to send me a friend request, you got to tell me if you're friend or foe, because I don't know who some of y'all people are. I'm getting a lot of friend requests on my Facebook page. Or just go to the Sherwin Hughes page and just like it, because then I don't have to accept you. But if you want to be on my Facebook page, you got to, I don't know who some of y'all are. Let me see who this lady is. Let me see. I'm about to say her name. It's cute. Lana Jamerson. She says, I help high W-2 income earners and business owners build wealth through accounting tax strategies. This looks fake. No, maybe not. Lana Jamerson. Y'all know someone named Lana Jamerson? Y'all know her? Are you listening, Lana Jamerson? Are you friend or foe? You might be an undercover Trumper. See, her profile picture, and then I go to the next picture, and that's a picture of a sunset with some birds on it. That looks like it's fake. No, it ain't her. I know this ain't. Atlanta banana don't look like this. Atlanta banana look like this, and we're going to be talking about a different kind of banana, know what I mean? Hey, I said it. What you going to do about it? Nothing. What is this? She got music on her page? Oh, maybe she is real. All right, you got the clip? Let's hear it, Rick.
What's going on, family?
Salute, King.
Hey, what's happening in?
Salute, Queen and King. I want to say this real quick. I have to say this because I was sitting with two other brothers. Al, Liz is our family, brother. Liz is family to us.
Check them.
You don't know who I am, but I'm a very serious. Liz doesn't know me. I'm a very serious individual when it comes to disrespect.
Check them.
You know what I mean? You can't call calling the sister no hoe, man. We don't do that, brother. We don't do that.
Did he say that?
You're gonna run into some problems. I mean, in my family, I mean, being real, Liz, you notice in my family,
absolutely,
we will harm you about disrespecting our women, man. In our family, I don't know what kind of family you have.
Come on,
but brother, we will hurt you
that's not
behind
good.
disrespecting the women in our family. She's family, brother.
How?
You can't do that, man. You can't do that.
What's happening?
Don't do that, brother. Because even law enforcement know who I am, and they wouldn't even disrespect me.
Whoa.
They won't disrespect me. They know who I am. You would never survive doing what you did. I don't respect the fact that you have the.
All right, cut it off. That's enough.
Brother.
That's enough. No,
Get on here.
That's enough. That's too much. That's too much. I think that if we keep it at words, we keep it at words, unless the words are actually threatening. Don't do that. I know. I've known that. She said his name is Mike. Let's everybody get along. Emotions are high. We just had an election. And let me tell you why I'm okay with the election. I didn't want it to go that way. None of us did. Here's another suggestion I probably should make. We need to stop running the Kamala Harris interview clips. It's over, guys. Let's not prolong the grieving process. Kamala lost, and she didn't lose by a little bit. She lost that election. We can try and figure out why. We can retool and do better in the next national election that we have, where I think the Democrats are going to do well. But the Democrats have a lot to learn. Kamala Harris did what she was supposed to do as a candidate with a very short period of time. I think that she traveled a lot. She went to the battleground states a lot. I think the Democrats overestimated the blue wall in the battleground states because she lost all of them. And I knew on election night when rural counties in Georgia moved even further in Trump's direction that was going to be a national trend. Steve Kornacki pointed it out within 30 minutes of the polls closing in Georgia. He's like, oh, this is weird. Republican counties are becoming even more Republican. And that was weird because we thought Trump had a ceiling. We thought there was only a certain number of people that would vote for him, and he was stuck at 47%. He was stuck at like 71 million votes or whatever it was. We didn't think that how Donald Trump was acting and with his impeachments and with his felony convictions that he would increase his vote share. He did. The MAGA movement is taking on a life of its own. I think it's taking on a life of its own and able to expand because Democrats have created a void. I know some of us sound like elitists. We sound very smart, very intelligent. Sometimes we talk in word salad and we use words and terms that may fly over the heads of some people. We got to stop doing that. Donald Trump said he loved the poorly educated, even though that was offensive. It should have been taken as offensive. At least he was listening to their concerns and listening to their economic anxieties when they complained about inflation and prices being too high and blaming Joe Biden for the economy. And, of course, the border. Because if you have economic anxiety, you already feel there's a lot of competition for your job. And if you're at the lower end and the lower pay scale of American jobs, then a migrant very well could come over here and replace you. Especially if you work in construction. I live in a black neighborhood, and every now and again there's construction going on, right? I see people getting their roofs replaced and tuck pointing going on their beautiful brick homes. It's been a long time since I've seen a black person do some of that work. A lot of times they're Latinos and Hispanics. Now, I got my fella, that comes and does work. He's a black fella. He's a very nice fella. Well, most of the people that do work in our neighborhoods and our communities, they are Latinos and Hispanics. So I can see somebody feeling some kind of way and feeling the economic anxiety that immigration may bring. The other part of it also might be racism. We don't want these people coming in our country because we don't like them because they're from another country. That's not nice, especially as black people. Don't be racist. I don't like racist people of any race. Got to stop it. Who is it? I'm here. I'm going to take this call. Hello?
Hello, I wondered if I could talk with Sherwin about something that I heard on Tori's show yesterday.
Okay. So what is your comment? I'm the call screener. What would you like to say to Sherwin?
I wanted to ask him whether he agreed with Tori's assessment regarding lack of engagement with black men from the Harris campaign.
Okay, please hold. Hi, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Hi, how's it going?
It's going pretty good.
There was something that I heard yesterday when I was listening to Tori, and full disclosure, I'm a white guy from the burbs, so I use this to try and overcome my white privilege. And one thing that I heard when I happened to be listening was his impression that the Harris campaign did not really engage with black men. One of the things he said was, I look at the Harris campaign, I don't see many black men in there. Where do I fit in? And I guess I'm kind of curious whether or not you thought that was an accurate assessment of why, I know there's many factors as to why Harris didn't win, but I guess I am kind of flabbergasted because I guess when I look at people who voted for Trump, especially when it comes to the black community, I don't know why they think that Trump is invested in their welfare. I mean, the only reason that Trump really seemed to ever want to be president again after he was voted out was because he wanted immunity from further prosecution. And that was the only, well, maybe not the only, but the biggest reason why he wanted re-election. And now that he's president-elect again, he's probably going to get it. So I'm curious if you think that that's an accurate assessment of one of the biggest reasons why Harris didn't succeed in the election.
So the short answer is I don't believe that black men were absent or non-existent, or that Kamala Harris's campaign did not reach out to black men. The top two generals of her statewide campaign here were both black men. At her events, at her rallies, black men were featured. I mean, hell, I was on stage at one of her rallies with a whole bunch of other African-American men. She was the only candidate to put together a 15-page plus detailed plan that mentioned black men specifically and how she wants to help grow the opportunity economy specifically for us. But from Tory's position, he wasn't connected with the Democratic Party. He was very much on one side. And so if you're very much on one side, you may not see how the Harris campaign here statewide and nationally was engaging with black men. And I'm going to say this. Donald Trump may have had a lot of African-American men involved in his campaign at the state level, at the national, regional level, but I wouldn't know that because I'm not connected with the Trump campaign, and I believe that Tory absolutely was. So from his perspective, someone who was firmly in the Trump camp, he wouldn't even see what black men were doing and the level of involvement, the high level of involvement we had with her campaign, her messaging, her campaign stops, etc. So I don't fault him for saying that, but also he's biased.
Do you think that if you take sort of like the criminality of Trump out of it for a second, because we know he's got a long track record of it, but if you think about his track record as president, with telling people to inject bleach during COVID, his words not being based in reality, whether it be crowd sizes or how weather works or windmills causing cancer, or having concepts of a plan for healthcare for over 9 years now. And on top of all of that, the insurrection, which led to the Confederate flag being carried through the Capitol, something the Confederacy never even accomplished during the Civil War. The mindset that I've had is that Trump doesn't give a damn about anyone but himself. He's always been out for himself. And I guess my question to that would be then, does any of that, knowing what he's been up to, his track record as president, the insurrection, all of that, does none of that supersede Tory's perception of not seeing himself being represented in the Harris campaign? Does that just all get ignored and flow out the window? I guess I would look at that and say that has a higher impact or weight than whether or not I feel like Kamala Harris is welcoming me with open arms.
Well, I am not going to speak on behalf of my colleague because he very much has his own 3-hour show that you could call, and he might engage with you on this subject. I don't feel comfortable answering that on behalf of Tory. I know that Tory very much made it clear he and his co-host picked a side in this most recent presidential election. And so all of the things that Donald Trump did, obviously Tory and the rest of the world know about those things. But I think as Democrats and those of us that believe in more progressive principles, we see those as factors in why we would not support Donald Trump. But his supporters do not. That adds to Donald Trump's character because the policies that we want to see implemented to another cohort of Americans, they don't follow policy like that anyway. They just know what does work for them and what doesn't work for them without getting into the nitty-gritty details of it. So we want to be specific about policy. They just know that gas is too expensive, there's too much immigration, and there's too much transgender LGBT stuff going on. So you can get in the weeds when it comes to policy with those folks, but it's going to fly over their heads. Donald Trump spoke their language in a way in which they can understand it, and he shared some of their misery, and that's all that they needed from him. They didn't care that he had felonies. They know people that have felonies. They didn't care that a group of people stormed the Capitol because they would say, well, Donald Trump didn't tell them to go, and that was a decision that those people made. So they're always going to make up excuses for reasons why they support him and reasons why we never would. But I appreciate your call. Is this Nate? Is that who I'm talking to?
Yes.
Thank you for calling, Nate. Appreciate your call. Have a good day, Nate. Ricky, I gotta take a break, don't I? Okay. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
As a bull rider, I prefer to do things single-handedly. That's why I love the UW Credit Union app. Doggy! It lets me check accounts, make transfers and more on the go. And if I need an extra hand, UW Credit Union has 13 Milwaukee area branches. Yippee! So, if you want simple mobile banking, mosey on over to UW Credit Union. They're here for every y'all. Federally insured by NCUA.
Tune into the award-winning 1017 The Truth this Saturday at 10 a.m. for another episode of Diversity and Excellence powered by Erie Insurance and hosted by Dr. Ken Harris and Fred Johnson, the Vice President and Wisconsin State Manager for Erie Insurance. They'll be joined by Doc Kurt, an auto adjuster at Erie Insurance. He will walk you through a step-by-step process of what auto adjusters do and give you tips on what to look out for to make sure you maximize on the value of your vehicle. Don't miss Diversity and Excellence powered by Erie Insurance this Saturday at 10 a.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 1017 The Truth. Here is Tory Lowe with his truth.
Breaking news, Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office is investigating the death of 43-year-old Devontae L. Mitchell outside of the Hyatt Regency on Sunday as a homicide. Breaking news. A Milwaukee mother is speaking out after her 17-year-old daughter, Amira Wallace, was shot and killed at Milwaukee's Deneen Park. This happened just after midnight on July 22nd. Breaking news. According to a sheriff's office report, Sean Grayson said he shot Sonia Massey after fearing she would throw boiling water at him, which would have caused great bodily harm or death. Breaking news. Body cam video shows fatal police shooting of 4-year-old Illinois boy and man holding him hostage. Police responding to a domestic violence call shot a 4-year-old named Terrell Marshawn Miller and his mother's boyfriend. Now that I have your attention, these are families that are more than just a news story. These are families who are hurting. These are families that are searching for justice. As a community, it's our duty to get involved and make sure we do our part to make sure that these families receive the justice that they're searching for. Today, it's their families in the news. Tomorrow is yours. This is why it's important for us to make sure that we stay on the front lines and make sure that we do our part to help change what's going on in our neighborhood. Whether it's police brutality, whether it's senseless violence, whether it's human trafficking, we all can do our part and help each and every family that's affected negatively in our communities get justice.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Tory Lowe Show weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The award-winning 1017 The Truth is the proud home of Milwaukee Panthers basketball. The Panthers hit the road tonight to take on the University of Northern Iowa Panthers. Oh, the Panthers versus the Panthers. Scott Warris has the coverage starting at 6:30 on 1017 The Truth. The Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield tip-off is set for 7. That's the only one I'm going to read, Ricky. I got to read the rest of them later because I got a bunch of calls. Let's talk to David. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing good. What's on your mind, David?
Okay. Well, my wife told me yesterday, well, I listened to your show, and you said that regardless of what, Kamala Harris wasn't going to be elected president. Yeah. It's like it's a smile, it's a slap in the face. She said, yeah, the main thing, they saw she made all that money, so she used that $2 billion to help stimulate the economy, and then slap us in the face and all that money gone. People put all that money.
I'm trying to follow the logic here. So your wife said they spent $2 billion to stimulate the economy, and what was the point?
The main thing, he said that they pumped her up pumped that up so they spent all that money, and then they were still going to get Trump anyway, regardless.
I think your wife has got a very elementary understanding of how campaigns work. Campaigns are expensive. Rallies are expensive. Paying police overtime is expensive. Hiring staff is expensive. Television commercials are expensive. They didn't just raise that money just to pump up the economy. I think she legitimately wanted to be president. She lost because the electorate shifted to the right, and we didn't account for that. She lost because white women didn't vote for her. She lost because the Democrats thought that a woman losing a constitutional right to privacy to make her own medical decisions would be reason enough for them to vote for someone who also has lost a right to privacy in making her medical decisions. That's why she lost. The money didn't stimulate the economy because I assure you, brother, your paycheck didn't go up because Kamala Harris's campaign spent $2 billion. Now, some people got rich. Media companies, networks got rich. Consultants got crazy rich. Consultants probably made $1 billion of the $2 billion, and it's a very small number of people. Did it stimulate the economy? No. Did she legitimately want to be president? Yes. So tell your wife that Trump won because we don't know the people in America like we think we know them. That's why she lost.
There you go. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Sound good.
All right.
All right.
Okay, then. Yeah, we got Trump because white women screwed everybody, and not in a consensual way. I did not consent, white ladies, to be screwed that way. You should have asked me first, and then I would have said no. I would have had a safe word. I don't want to be screwed that way. White ladies, I don't want you to vote for Donald Trump because you're going to hurt everybody. That's what I would have said to the white women, and they would have said, shut up, N-word. I'm calling the police on you because you're scaring me, because you're making me responsible for my decision. And then they would start crying. Let's talk to The Town. You're on 101.7 The Truth.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
Real quick. All right. Real quick. And I keep on calling, keep on telling you this. Like, bro, the way you talk to people, the way y'all talk to people. Like, y'all talk to people like they dumb, super dumb. And I know the people of your ilk and the Democratic Party, they own education, and that's good too. But when you're talking to people that got less education than you, to explain something,
I'm not the show for
like
them.
You just told
I'm not going to get into it with you because we've had this conversation, and I think you're expecting a different answer from me. If you don't understand what I'm saying, if you feel like I'm condescending because you don't understand what I'm saying, I can't. That's not my problem. I'm not going to talk in elementary language because there are people that want to know how complicated some of this stuff actually is. I'm not the show for that. There's so much media for people like that, and I'm not going to be like ridiculed because I'm speaking the way I know how to speak to my audience that I have been talking to for over a decade. And if someone who just discovers me thinks that what I say goes over their head, that's not a me problem. That's a you problem. This is not elementary stuff. I have an audience that understands the basic stuff about policy and about politics, and they vote accordingly. I am doing the vast majority of the people that listen to me a disservice if I now have to explain stuff like it's a second grade level. I have respect for people that want to know the stuff that you're not getting everywhere else, including the stuff that we should have learned in school and did not. Let's talk to Brian. You're on 101.7 The Truth.
How you doing, Sherwin? Love your show.
Thank you, Brian. How are you today?
Oh, I'm ecstatic as usual.
Oh, lovely. What's on your mind?
Yeah. I wanted to say something about Trump. Trump is an anti-Republican. Trump is also an anti-Democrat. That's probably why he's going to be successful. Because if you remember correctly, when he won the first time, all the people that were Republicans in his level turned against him. So he had to weed out people that were supposedly the Charlie Sykes type Republicans that he had to get rid of. So we can't say that Trump's going to take on the identity of, quote-unquote, a redneck. He's just not going to do it. He's anti-redneck, and he's also anti-unnormal. So I think it's a good thing that he got elected, even though I didn't vote for him this time because I fell for Kamala. But I don't think the dire things you're putting out here or other people are putting out here to think that everybody's going to be tanking, I don't think it's going to happen. Number one, I don't think it's going to be a mass deportation. first of all, we got enough problems employing people locally. You're really not going to be able to employ people nationally like that. We just don't have the numbers, don't have the skill level, don't have the motivation to hire people to do that in the first place. So I don't think the mass deportation is actually going to go on.
Okay,
so
Ryan, I gotta leave it there because I gotta take a break. But after I come back from the break, I'm gonna read something, and it's gonna be specifically for you and those that think like you that Donald Trump may not do some of the things that I am warning folks about. But I appreciate your call, but I gotta go. I'm gonna take this break. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna read something for all of you that think that Trump will not go as far as some of us are predicting he will. So you make sure you stay tuned because I'm gonna read it next. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. The Milwaukee Panthers hit the road Thursday night as they travel to Iowa to take on the Northern Iowa Panthers.
We have confirmed that. Back goes John Lovelace Jr. transition dunk on a tomahawk for Johnny.
Scott Warris has the coverage Thursday starting at 6:30 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield.
Stillwell offensive rebound, spin, score, and a foul.
Tip-off happens at 7 o'clock.
The Empowerment Small Business Loan Program, we're talking about up to $5 million, which for small business owners, we need that. That's like payroll, that's resources. So can you just let us know what is the program and why is this lending program so important to Old National Bank?
Years ago, our CEO, Jim Ryan, this program is his brainchild. He was working with Roland Shelton, who you know, Denise, out of Evansville, and they identified that African-American business owners, Hispanic business owners, Native American business owners, as well as women business owners had a difficult time in obtaining financing from the traditional credit partners. And so we went out, created a program, launched it last year in 2023. And so far last year, we have helped over 100 successful minority and women-owned businesses with about $25 million in loans. We've already started this year with almost $8 million in approvals, again, geared toward minority business owners and women business owners that normally had difficulties in obtaining traditional credit finance.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Craving something mouthwatering? Head to Munchies, Milwaukee's finest quick-service eatery. You'll love their gourmet egg rolls, wings, loaded fries, and fried fish. And don't miss their signature pasta dishes and soul food options. Plus, ask about their upcoming pound cake line. They're open Wednesday to Saturday, 12 to 6 p.m. Visit Munchies on site. Call in your order or get delivery. Follow Munchies on Facebook and Instagram at Munchies Detroit Style. Check out their website at munchiesdetroitstyle.com. Munchies, where your cravings meet satisfaction.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The Truth is the home of Marquette High School football. We have a huge round 3 playoff matchup as the Marquette Hilltoppers look to keep their playoff journey alive as they host the Bayport Pirates. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. High school sports on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that is all. And tune in to the award-winning 101.7 The Truth this Saturday at 10 a.m. for the best of diversity and excellence, powered by Erie Insurance and hosted by Dr. Ken Harris and Fred Johnson. They will be joined by Doc Kurt, an auto adjuster at Erie Insurance, And we all have or know someone who has been in a car accident, and Doc will provide tips on how you can maximize your payout after an accident. So again, don't miss the best of diversity and excellence powered by Erie Insurance this Saturday at 10 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth. All right, as it pertains to Donald Trump, I'm going to read you guys a very brief story called The Zen Master and the Little Boy. Now, it's a little bit abstract. So people that are not high-level critical thinkers, this is going to fly over your head, so go ahead and turn the damn radio off, because I don't want you calling me and getting mad at me because I said something you didn't understand. What I do, ladies and gentlemen, is not for everyone. It will never be for everyone. If what I do is not for you, I assure you there is other media that is. Are we good? Great. As far as Donald Trump not doing some of the things he said he is going to do, he's not going to go as far. He's not going to be as extreme. He was just kidding. He was being hyperbolic because, that's who he is. He's an extreme kind of personality. Don't take him serious. But usually when people say don't take Trump serious, it's that they simply cannot understand how or why he says what he says, and so then they dismiss what they don't understand. If it doesn't make any sense to them, people just dismiss it. If somebody confronts you with information that makes no sense to you, it is easy to dismiss the information and the person that told it to you. And a lot of folks are treating Trump that way. But this is the story about the Zen master and the little boy. And it goes, the boy's father bought him a horse for his 14th birthday, and everyone in the village said, "Oh, isn't that wonderful? The boy got a horse." And the Zen master said, "We'll see." A couple of years later, the boy fell from his horse, badly breaking his leg, and everyone in the village said, "Oh, how awful. He won't be able to walk properly." The Zen master said, "We'll see." Then a war broke out, and all the young men had to go and fight, but this young man couldn't because his leg was still messed up, and everyone said, "Oh, how wonderful. He doesn't have to go off to war because he broke his leg when he fell off the horse." The Zen master said, "We'll see." As far as what Donald Trump said on the campaign trail, and even prior to that when he was talking about his enemies list and he was lamenting about all of his grievances from the enemy within, including those Democrats that had this impeachment investigation against him in which he was impeached twice. And he has, I believe, a concrete set of plans to prioritize who he is going to get back at over prioritizing the economic needs of the American people. And for all of you to think that Donald Trump is not going to do those things, he is not going to use your tax money that should be invested in your education and your infrastructure and invested in a better quality of life for you. To you, I say, we'll see. Donald Trump saying he wants to be a dictator on day one. Of course you don't believe that. He can't do that. There's so many checks and balances. They won't let him. And to all of you people that say that, to you I say, we'll see. Donald Trump's friendship with Benjamin Netanyahu and allowing Israel to move their embassy to Jerusalem, giving a nod to letting Benjamin Netanyahu and his Zionist friends and colleagues destroy Palestine and wipe it off of the map. Some of you don't think that's going to happen. And to you, I'll say, we'll see. The story of the Zen master and the little boy. Let's read some text messages in my last couple of minutes here. Julie says, good morning. Did Sherwin ever say who his 2028 presidential running mate candidates are? I did. I'll say it again for you, Julie. It is Governor Josh Shapiro and Governor Westmore. Josh Shapiro is the current governor of Pennsylvania and was a dynamic surrogate for Kamala Harris. A lot of people are questioning the decision that the Democrats, the DNC, Kamala Harris, and others made not to pick Josh Shapiro as Kamala Harris's running mate because they loved his effervescence and his charisma, the way he fired up a crowd. And he is from the battleground state of Pennsylvania, which Kamala Harris needed in her trajectory to 270 electoral votes. Some people are regretting that decision, that she did not pick Josh Shapiro. She should have picked Tim Walz. Here's the thing with Josh Shapiro. His personality was so big and so bright, it would have overshadowed Kamala Harris. Here's something that you cannot do, and I think you noticed this with Tim Walz. he did not ever overshadow Madam Vice President. Now, he did fire up his crowds when he went and did his own rallies, but he always willingly played second fiddle to her. He was never more brash than her. He was never more outrageous than her. He willingly took the back seat. He always referred to her with a level of respect and decorum every time a microphone was in front of his face. Josh Shapiro was big and brash and bold, and he was an orator. And Kamala Harris had a much more, let's say, smooth style. And every now and again, Kamala would get a little fired up. But Josh Shapiro would have been the star of that ticket when it absolutely had to have been Kamala Harris. Unfortunately, I think it'll be a while before either party nominates a woman or we have a woman president. But if we go to direct democracy, if we get rid of the Electoral College, because how the Electoral College works, it allows for people and for forces that are anti-woman to always get their presidential candidate. Once we get rid of the Electoral College, we're going to have women presidents for 100 years in a row. Thank you for listening. Jamming with Juice is up next.
It started with a prediction.
Go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the